The Kardashians are basically a walking conspiracy theory at this point. Every time this family breathes, the internet creates a new theory explaining why it was secretly part of Kris Jenner's master plan. And honestly, some of these are weirdly believable. So first off, let's talk about harvesting Rob's fat. Okay, this is the most unhinged one ever. I mean, people online seriously believe Rob Kardashian's weight gain years ago secretly helped fuel the Kardashian BBL era. The theory exploded after Kim tried proving her butt was real with an X-ray on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, if you remember that. But fans pointed out that fat transfers would not show up the same way implants do. Then people noticed Rob gaining weight around the same time Kim and Khloe suddenly developed these, mathematically impossible body proportions. So the internet started joking that Rob was basically the family's personal fat bank. Now, obviously there is zero proof that this actually happened, but the theory became legendary because people still do not believe the Kardashian body transformations were natural. Let's talk about Kourtney and Justin Bieber, their alleged affair. Now, back in 2015, rumors exploded that Kourtney Kardashian and Justin Bieber were secretly hooking up after her breakup with Scott Disick. They were constantly spotted leaving clubs together, and suddenly the internet became like FBI agents overnight. Then the theory somehow got even crazier when people started claiming Justin might secretly be the father of Kourtney's son Reign because fans thought that they looked alike. Yes, the internet looked at a literal child and said, hold on, that's baby Bieber. The rumor got so massive that Reign himself eventually denied it years later on like an Instagram live or something, but still, people are crazy and they refuse to let this conspiracy die. Let's talk about Kim's fake wedding. Now, a huge amount of people believe Kim Kardashian's marriage to Kris Humphries was completely staged for ratings. And honestly, 72 days is not exactly beating the allegations. Fans started questioning everything after reports claimed parts of the proposal were recreated for television because Kim did not like how she looked originally, which immediately made people wonder if the relationship itself was partly, manufactured for the show. Because once reality TV starts recreating emotional moments, people stop knowing what is actually real and what's actually not. Let's talk about the Pimp Mama Kris agenda. Okay, so this is all about Kris Jenner, or as the internet calls her, PMK, Pimp Mama Kris. Now, this conspiracy basically says Kris Jenner masterminds every scandal, breakup, leak, and viral moment this family has ever had. According to the theory, nothing happens accidentally in the Kardashian empire. Every relationship becomes content. Every controversy becomes publicity. Every emotional breakdown somehow turns into like a season finale. And honestly, even people who love the Kardashians kind of believe this one because Kris Jenner works harder than the United States military PR department. Like, seriously. Let's talk about Caitlyn Jenner and the Kardashian distraction theory. Now, this theory says the Kardashians are experts at controlling media attention. Basically, whenever controversy starts building around the family, another massive headline suddenly appears and distracts everyone. People especially pointed to how huge Caitlyn Jenner's transition coverage became and how completely it dominated entertainment news for months. The conspiracy claims the Kardashians have mastered celebrity distraction tactics better than anyone in Hollywood. And I mean, honestly, considering this family somehow trends every single day of the year, maybe they have been right with this one. Who knows? And finally, let's talk about the Kanye business deal theory. This is one of the biggest theories online. It's that Kim and Kanye were not just a relationship, they were a strategic power move. People noticed Kim's image completely transformed during their marriage. Suddenly, she went from reality TV glamour to like high fashion runway queen almost overnight. At the same time, Kanye gained even more mainstream celebrity influence while Kim entered elite fashion circles. Now, obviously, they had a real relationship. I mean, they had like a ton of kids together, but fans still believe their marriage also functioned like one giant billion-dollar branding partnership because nobody monetizes fame better than the Kardashians and Kanye at this point. And I mean, at this point, the Kardashians are not even a family anymore. They're basically a full-time conspiracy theory with like Contour, a Hulu contract. It's a mess. When it comes to the Kardashians, people either worship them or can't stand them, but beneath the glitz, glam, and Instagram filters, this famous family has had more than their fair share of scandals that could have landed them in serious trouble. And let's just say if their last name wasn't Kardashian or Jenner, things might have turned out very differently. Let's start with Kim Kardashian's S-tape scandal. Everyone knows that infamous tape with Ray J launched Kim into superstardom, but what a lot of people don't realize is how shady the whole deal really was. Reports surfaced years later that Kris Jenner actually helped broker the deal with Vivid Entertainment, essentially turning something that could have been a legal nightmare into the foundation of a billion-dollar empire. While Kim has always claimed she was the victim, multiple sources, including Ray J himself, have accused her family of orchestrating the whole release. If true, this wasn't just exploitation, it could have crossed into criminal territory with fraud and distribution without full consent. But instead of legal consequences, Kim got a reality show, and the rest is history. Now let's talk about Kendall Jenner's infamous Pepsi ad. Remember when Kendall stopped a protest by handing a police officer a Pepsi? Well, that commercial wasn't just tone deaf, it caused international outrage. But here's where the legal side comes in. The ad used imagery that mirrored the Black Lives Matter movement without consent or credit from activists, sparking accusations of exploitation. While not criminal in the traditional sense, this could have opened the door to lawsuits for misappropriation. Now, let's be real, if this was anyone else's family, Pepsi and Kendall would have been buried in legal hell. Instead, Kendall just pulled the ad and went back to walking the runway. And who could forget Kylie Jenner's billionaire scandal? Forbes famously crowned her the youngest self-made billionaire, only to retract the title and accuse her of forging tax documents and inflating the success of Kylie Cosmetics. We're talking about potential tax fraud here, something that sends regular people straight to jail. Forbes even accused the family of creating a web of lies, but instead of a court date, Kylie just lost the billionaire label and kept her luxury cars, mansions, and brand deals. Imagine faking documents to the IRS and just walking away with your empire intact. That's Kardashian privilege at its finest. Khloe Kardashian also isn't squeaky clean. Back in the early 2000s, she was arrested for a DUI and later violated her probation. Normally, a violation means jail time, but Khloe served only a few hours behind bars before being released due to overcrowding. Yeah, sure, for most people, a DUI violation means months locked up, but for Khloe, it turned into a dramatic episode on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and actually boosted the show's ratings. Her crime became content, and her punishment turned into a punchline. And then there's Kris Jenner, the mastermind herself. She's been accused of covering up scandals and using hush money to protect the family image. From bribing people to keep quiet about the Kim tape to allegations of workplace harassment from her former staff, Kris has danced on the edge of criminal allegations for years. Yet she's never faced serious charges. Instead, she turned the entire family into a business empire worth billions. In any other world, Kris would be the mob boss running an underground empire, but in Hollywood, she's just Momager of the Year. At the end of the day, the Kardashians have built their fortune not just on fashion and reality TV, but on scandals, shady deals, and legal loopholes that would have buried anyone else. They've turned potential crimes into cash, and instead of orange jumpsuits, they're walking red carpets. Every man who gets romantically involved with Kim Kardashian eventually ends up broken, humiliated, or publicly dragged through chaos. Kris Humphries. Kris Humphries thought he had it all, an NBA career, fame, and then marriage to Kim Kardashian, but his story turned into one of the most humiliating pop culture disasters of the decade. Their marriage lasted a record-breaking 72 days before collapsing into tabloid chaos. Humphries went from being a solid basketball player to a national punchline, booed by fans in arenas across the country. He later admitted he felt like his entire career had been overshadowed by that marriage, and he never regained his footing in the NBA. One wedding with Kim, and his legacy was destroyed. Kanye West. Now, Kanye West might be the most tragic example. When Kim and Kanye got together, he was a cultural god, one of the most influential artists alive, but during their marriage, the controversy started spiraling. Bizarre Twitter rants, public feuds, his run for presidency, and explosive interviews that tanked his reputation and career. By the time Kim filed for divorce, Kanye wasn't the icon he once was. He was viewed as unstable, erratic, and controversial to the point of cancellation. Some fans argue Kim drained the very life out of his image, leaving him a shell of who he once was. Pete Davidson. Now, Pete Davidson's fling with Kim seemed like harmless fun until it wasn't. Almost overnight, Pete was caught in a brutal feud with Kanye, who made music videos about burying him alive and trolled him relentlessly on social media. Pete, who has been open about his struggles with mental health, reportedly ended up in trauma therapy after all of this. Now, his image shifted from the funny SNL comedian to Kim's rebound guy who got burned alive in Kanye's circus. Pete may have survived, but his career momentum hasn't, and it really hasn't been the same since. Ray J. Now, Ray J is the man who started it all. His relationship with Kim birthed the infamous tape, we know. that launched her entire empire. But while Kim turned the scandal into a billion-dollar brand, Ray J was left typecast as the guy from the tape. Every attempt at music, business, or television came with Kim's name attached to him, now overshadowing his entire career. He spent years trying to reclaim his narrative, but it's undeniable. Kim came out on top and Ray J's career never fully recovered. Reggie Bush. Now, Reggie Bush was one of the NFL's most exciting players when he dated Kim, but after their breakup, his career slowly faded into mediocrity. Fans often joked about the Kardashian curse, being Reggie, never lived up to the superstar expectations set early on, and despite being, a Heisman Trophy winner, his name gets brought up less for his sports legacy and more for being one of Kim's exes. That alone shows the destructive pattern dating Kim makes your personal brand all about her, not you. Either way, history doesn't lie. Every man Kim Kardashian dates ends up destroyed. Kris Jenner pimped out her daughters to build a billion-dollar empire, and you cannot convince me otherwise. You ever notice how Kris Jenner somehow turned literally every family disaster into a business meeting? At this point, the woman does not see a daughter, she sees quarterly earnings. And listen, nobody can deny the Kardashians built one of the biggest celebrity empires on the planet. Billion-dollar brands, TV domination, makeup lines, fashion deals, private jets, entire economies built off beige furniture and contour sticks. But people are seriously starting to ask one question louder than ever. Did Kris Jenner basically market her daughters like products from day one? Because when you actually look back at the timeline, it's pretty wild. Kim's tape drops, and instead of disappearing from Hollywood forever like most celebrities would back then, somehow the entire family turns it into a launch pad. Suddenly there's magazine covers, interviews, reality shows, endorsement deals. Kris allegedly helped negotiate the release deal, and that rumor has followed her for years. The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner with a BlackBerry in 2007 worked harder. And honestly, that changed celebrity culture forever. Before, the Kardashians' fame usually came after talent, acting, singing, sports, something, I don't know. The Kardashians flipped it into your personal life is the product. Your fights are content. Your relationships are content. Your surgeries are content. Your divorces are content. Your trauma. Roll cameras, babe. It's all content. That family monetized literally everything except silence. And you cannot tell me Kris did not strategically build every daughter into a different brand category, like she was assembling the Avengers of influencer capitalism. Kim was the glamorous, sensual symbol. Kourtney was the sarcastic, natural one. Khloe became the relatable, funny sister. Kendall was high fashion and tequila. Kylie was the billionaire beauty mogul before she could legally rent a car. Kris really looked at her children and said, diversification. Even old Keeping Up clips hit different now. There are scenes where Kris openly talks about branding opportunities, image management, publicity. Kendall's modeling career was treated like a corporate rollout. Kylie's transformation from regular Calabasas teenager into full glam Instagram baddie happened at lightning speed, and the internet has been debating for years whether she was pushed way too young into adult fame culture. Because let's be real for a second, Kylie was still a teenager dating grown rappers while getting thrown into beauty campaigns and global attention before she even fully became an adult. The girl went from like braces to billion-dollar CEO in about, 11 minutes. And the craziest part, it actually worked. That is why people are so fascinated by Kris Jenner. She might genuinely be one of the smartest media masterminds Hollywood has ever seen. Ruthless? Maybe. Calculated? Absolutely. But stupid? Never. This woman turned one reality show into a multi-billion-dollar dynasty. Most reality stars cannot even turn their 15 minutes into a podcast sponsorship. Kris turned hers into private islands and trademark filings. But the criticism keeps growing because people feel like the line between family and business completely disappeared. Every breakup became a season finale. Every cheating scandal became promotion. Every emotional meltdown somehow had professional lighting and an executive producer credit. Even fans joked that Kris would film the apocalypse if, Hulu renewed for another season. And honestly, the internet has become way more uncomfortable with how young fame started for Kendall and Kylie. People now look back at old clips and interviews differently because social media has changed how audiences see exploitation in celebrity families, especially momager culture, because Kris did not just manage careers, she built an entire machine where the family itself became the commodity. And whether you respect it or think it is completely insane, you can't deny she changed Hollywood forever. At this point, Kris Jenner deserves a Harvard business course and at least 3 FBI documentaries documentaries. I mean, you know, no one on earth has ever monetized family drama harder than this woman. Nobody, literally. Maybe Joe Jackson, I don't know. The American economy might actually collapse if Kris Jenner ever stops scheduling brand meetings. Want to work for the Kardashians? Well, you better think twice. These ex-assistants are spilling more than just some chamomile tea. They're unleashing dark, dirty secrets. Kardashian ex-employees are finally talking, and listen, some of the behind-the-scenes secrets make the show look downright wholesome. Now, if you thought the drama was wild on camera, wait until you hear what the people actually working inside the Kardashian universe say they had to keep quiet. Let's start with the one that made me physically sit up in bed. Former assistants say that nothing in the Kardashian world happens spontaneously. Not one moody stare, not one surprise phone call, not even the infamous ugly cry moments. Apparently, employees were told straight up that if something dramatic was going to happen, they'd get a warning so they could position hair, makeup, lighting, and my favorite, Kris Jenner's camera angle. Now imagine crying but having to make sure your good side is still facing the ring light. And speaking of Kris, oh Kris, multiple ex-staff members claim Kris Jenner's work ethic is basically code for be available at all times or prepare to be replaced. We're talking 2 a.m. texts, rescheduled days off, and last-second emergencies that weren't actually emergencies. And being told to just kind of figure it out with the same enthusiasm Kris uses while negotiating multi-million-dollar brand deals. One assistant said working for Kris was like working for a CEO, a publicist, a mom, a manager, and a CIA handler all at once. But Kim's world had its own level of controlled chaos. One former stylist claimed they had to sign NDAs so strict they weren't even allowed to tell their partner who they worked for. And in May 2021, Kim Kardashian was sued by a group of former maintenance workers who alleged she failed to pay overtime, withheld wages, and denied legally mandated meal and rest breaks. A representative for Kardashian stated the workers were hired through a third-party vendor and she was not responsible for the vendor's agreements with its staff. Now let's talk about the clean eating era. Ex-chefs and kitchen staff have spilled that the family's ultra-curated fridge setups are exactly that, curated, meaning yes, the lifestyle, shots are gorgeous, but off camera, there were normal snacks, late night cravings, and the occasional please get me something greasy before I lose my mind moments. One former chef said they had to make things look organic, gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, fun-free, joy-free for filming, but the second cameras were off, someone was ordering a pizza. And then there's the security team who might honestly deserve hazard pay. I mean, former guards say the family has a strict don't be seen, don't be heard, don't breathe too loud policy when cameras are rolling. One ex-security staffer said they were trained to melt into the walls like vampires and were scolded if even a shadow showed up on film. Imagine being told your shadow is ruining the shot. I mean, that's spiritual warfare. The wildest part, well, several former employees say the moment you leave the Kardashian ecosystem, the NDAs you signed don't just follow you, they haunt you. Some claim they were terrified to even hint at anything because the family's legal team moves like the Avengers. One assistant said they didn't realize how stressful the job was until they literally left and suddenly remembered what sleep felt like. But here's what every ex-employee seems to agree on. The Kardashians are always working, even at home. Even while pretending not to be working, everything is, content. Everything is curated and literally everything is calculated. So if you ever wondered why the Kardashians, would look so shiny, perfect, and choreographed, now you know. There's an entire army behind the scenes being paid, positioned, and sometimes traumatized.
For years, people have thought that the Kardashians made a deal with the devil to gain their wealth and fame. But could there actually be some truth to this? Khloe Kardashian actually addressed this in a recent episode of her podcast. Now, there was a rumor that went around that the Kardashians' great-grandmother on their dad's side of the family went to a witch and made some sort of spell that her family would be famous and rich. This story has been going around for a while, and Khloe finally confirmed it. She said, "I'm not a witch, not that I know of. I can't tell you what my great-grandmother did, but I don't think any of us are witches." Now, you see how she didn't deny the rumor though? This has people thinking that maybe the rumor is true. I mean, everything has always been set up perfectly for the family, almost cosmic. And Khloe's response is just suspicious. And you know, this isn't the first time someone has said something like this. Jeff Old, head of ETV programming, where the show Keeping Up with the Kardashians originally aired in the US, the deal you make with the devil is that there are no really parts of their life that are off limits, the highs and lows. Kris Jenner, the momager, was known for doing whatever it took to get her children ahead and make the most money. And Caitlyn Jenner has also spoken out, praising Kris for what she has done with the family. She said, "Kris started with absolutely nothing, and today she has a multi-billion-dollar business. She built a dynasty. Kris liked being in control of everything, as in the celebrity world, everybody tries to control their own narrative, and Kris knew how to play the game. In fact, nobody has done it better than she has." Yes, we all know that Kris had some of the most private and emotional moments of her children's lives put on television for millions of people to watch, and I mean, she even coined the term momager, taking control of her children's careers. Now, Caitlyn also explained in this interview, Kim had this desire from a child. She wanted to be in the celebrity world. She calculated from the very beginning, how do I become famous? And for a successful reality show, you need a couple of things, a lot of storylines. Now, it seems like Kris decided to do whatever it took to make her family be in the spotlight. I mean, we all know she took advantage of the moment Kim's tape leaked with Ray J. Although some rumors say that Kris was actually the one who leaked the tape to get her daughter more fame. You see, Ray J has finally spoken out and said, "I never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." He claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Then there's also the fact that Kris forced Kim to get married to Chris Humphries, even though she didn't want to go through with it. Their marriage lasted only 72 days, but they had to go through with it due to contracts with the TV show. So did they really make a deal with the devil? What do you think?
Is Kourtney Kardashian trapped in a toxic marriage with Travis Barker? Fans are starting to get deeply concerned. So you think a rock star plus a reality queen equals a fairy tale romance? Yeah, no, think again. Today we're talking about why a lot of people genuinely believe Kourtney Kardashian might be trapped in a toxic marriage with Travis Barker. Let's start with the vibe shift. Kourtney has openly said Travis's lifestyle is very fast and very impulsive, while she's trying to just slow down, be present, and focus on family. Cute in theory, but in practice, I mean, it's giving spiritual like yoga girl accidentally marries a human monster energy drink. Then there's the infamous scene, the 5K run. Kourtney had just had a baby. She was weak, breastfeeding, literally saying she felt like she might pass out or throw up. Travis, well, he held her hand while basically dragging her across the finish line. Fans didn't see support. They saw a guy who needed to win a race more than he needed to check if the mother of his child was okay. And if you think that's the only red flag floating around, please. People online have been calling out this pattern for years. The very clingy PDA, the constant need to be stuck to her like a human backpack, the rock love aesthetic pushed to the extreme. What some fans once called passionate is now looking a little more like I can't breathe. Then there are the cheating rumors. No solid proof. Nothing's confirmed, but definitely loud enough to make the internet spiral. The claims always follow the same pattern. Travis was seen with a much younger woman. Travis was acting sketchy. Kourtney looked miserable, as always. Again, nothing concrete, but the smoke around this relationship could trigger a fire alarm, honestly. And don't even get people started on the isolation theories. I mean, there are fans who swear he's pulling her away from her family. They point to her distance from the Kardashians, her sudden shift into his lifestyle, his routines, his pace. Some people think the dynamic went from romantic to controlling real fast. Now, to be fair, Travis has said Kourtney saved him, that she made him feel alive again, that she's the calm to his chaos. But depending on how you look at it, I mean, that can either be really sweet or the preface to an emotional chokehold, because here is the truth. When one person sets the pace, makes the decisions, and controls the energy, it stops being an equal partnership it becomes something really unbalanced, something that looks a lot like a trap, wearing matching leather jackets. I mean, I'm not here calling this relationship confirmed toxic. I'm just saying there are enough flashing red signs to, pull the emergency brake and ask, if you were Kourtney, would you still call this love, or would you call it a warning? Maybe she's in it for love. Maybe she believes in second chances. Maybe she's trying to create stability for her kids. But from the outside, between the pressure, the rumors, the imbalance, and the constant intensity, this doesn't look like a fairy tale anymore. It looks like the kind of story that starts with soulmates and ends with, girl, why didn't you leave sooner? And if nothing changes, if he doesn't slow down, if she keeps shrinking to fit his world, then the real headline won't be Kravis forever. It'll be Kourtney Kardashian was trapped in plain sight. Is Khloe Kardashian even a Kardashian? Kris Jenner's secret affair has finally been exposed. All right, buckle up, because the Kardashian family tree might have more plot twists than an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians on Fast Forward. To start, let's rewind to actually the 80s. Kris Jenner was married to high-profile attorney Robert Kardashian Sr., the man who later became infamous for defending O.J. Simpson. Now picture it, if you will, Beverly Hills, big hair, shoulder pads, and Kris Jenner living her best life as a socialite. But according to her own memoir, she wasn't exactly living the faithful life. Kris admitted to having an affair while married to Robert. She even said it was one of the biggest mistakes of her life. But she never said with who. That one little mystery cracked open Pandora's box of Kardashian conspiracies. Fans started comparing Khloe's looks to her siblings, pointing out that she didn't even share the same features as Kim, Kourtney, or Rob. While they leaned into those classic Armenian traits, Khloe was taller, lighter, and let's be honest, looked like she belonged to a different genetic family entirely. So cue the internet theories. The first name to get dragged into the rumor mill, well, of course, O.J. Simpson, because again, of course, Robert Kardashian was one of O.J.'s closest friends and part of his legal dream team during the infamous, Schmurder trial. Now, naturally, the tabloids connected the dots that maybe didn't exist and claimed Kris had an affair with O.J. and that Khloe was his secret love child. Kris called those rumors tasteless and disgusting, and O.J. publicly denied it, of course, saying he never had anything romantic with her and that the idea was just ridiculous. But that didn't stop anyone from talking. Then came Alex Roldan theory. Now, Kris Jenner's longtime hairdresser. Alex worked with her for years, was around during her marriage to Robert, and according to some fans, looks suspiciously similar to Khloe. We're talking same jawline, same eyes, same nose. I mean, the old one that she had. And the resemblance is uncanny, though, and it's enough that Reddit detectives had a field day. I mean, some people even joke that the R in Khloe's middle name could stand for, Roldan. I mean, savage, I know. Let's not forget, Kris has never publicly shut down that specific rumor. Sure, she's denied OJ, but when it comes to Alex, radio silence. I mean, almost like she's letting the mystery marinate. And honestly, Kris Jenner is the type of mastermind who could turn a family scandal into a ratings boost. Would it really surprise anyone if she left that rumor alive just to keep the Kardashians trending for another 20 years? I mean, this woman turned a leaked S-tape into $1 billion empire. Even Khloe herself has played into the confusion. I mean, on an early episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Kris tried to convince her to take a DNA test to put the rumors to rest. Khloe refused, saying she didn't need to prove who her father was, which fair, but also girl, the internet doesn't rest. Just take the test. Every time someone digs up an old photo of Alex, the conspiracy theories come crawling back. And the craziest part, there's never been a definitive answer. No DNA test, no official statement, nothing but whispers, side eyes, and a whole lot of Kardashian chaos. And the longer it goes unresolved, the juicier it gets. I mean, at this point, the who's Khloe's real dad saga is basically pop culture folklore. Whether it's OJ, Alex, or Robert himself, one thing's for sure, Kris Jenner knows exactly how to keep us watching. I mean, she's the puppet master of modern celebrity, pulling the strings while everyone else argues over paternity tests and hairdresser headshots. So is Khloe Kardashian a true Kardashian? Technically, maybe, I don't know. Spiritually, absolutely, because if there's one thing that defines a Kardashian, it's the ability to turn drama into gold, and Khloe does that better than anyone. I mean, if Kris ever decides to spill the full truth about that affair, she'll probably save it for the season finale of The Kardashians, streaming exclusively on Hulu with a tequila in one hand and a smirk that says you'll never really know. Khloe Kardashian apparently slapped her no-good cheating ex in the face, and I've got the details on it. A situation is bad when a man hires a Grammy-nominated R&B singer to fix it and still gets slapped, because yes, this actually happened. Khloe Kardashian slapped her cheating ex Tristan Thompson right in the face, and the story behind it is somehow even more uncomfortable than the headline. So picture this: Tristan, a man with more cheating scandals than playoff losses, decides he's going to win Khloe back with a grand romantic gesture. Not therapy, not accountability, not consistency. No, he brings in Giveon to serenade her like they're in a music video. Except Khloe did not sign up for Love and Basketball the musical. This wasn't Valentine's Day. It wasn't a proposal. It wasn't even a hey, can we talk moment. Khloe was already irritated with him. And suddenly this man is trying to slide next to her while Giveon is singing his soul out in the background. The audacity was astronomical. And Khloe, well, she snapped. She straight up slapped Tristan Thompson in the face, apparently. Not a dramatic, wind up slap. More like a, don't you dare touch me reflex that, has been loading for years. Years of public embarrassment, years of cheating scandals, years of her looking like the most patient woman alive while he repeatedly fumbled the easiest bag in history. And that's no shade to her. Meanwhile, Giveon just, keeps singing. Imagine being paid to perform and watching a Kardashian relationship implode in real time. But you still, have to hit your notes. So yeah, honestly, professionalism at its best. Khloe immediately grabbed her daughter, True, created a physical barrier between herself and Tristan, and removed herself from the situation because nothing kills a vibe faster than your ex thinking a live soundtrack will erase his past behavior, right? I mean, this moment wasn't funny because it was violent, but it was funny because it was real. This wasn't staged. This wasn't PR. This was a woman who had reached her limit after being disrespected on a global scale. Let's not forget who we're talking about here. Khloe Kardashian has been dragged through cheating headlines more times than like anyone deserves or been through. Tristan didn't just mess up once, he made a lifestyle choice out of disappointing her. So when he thought a serenade would magically undo years of chaos, that slap was basically like muscle memory. And honestly, the most savage part isn't even the slap, it's that Khloe told the story herself, very calmly, casually, like, yeah, that happened, because she's so past pretending things were ever normal. Tristan probably thought he was doing something romantic. He probably thought he was doing his big one. Khloe saw it for what it was, a performative gesture instead of real change, which is typical. No apology song, no, candlelight vocals, no celebrity crooner can fix a man who refuses to evolve, period. So yeah, he's giving narc energy, and the internet just got another reminder that grand gestures mean absolutely nothing without respect and honestly, icon behavior. Is Kim Kardashian responsible for ruining a man's life? I've got some hot tea, pull your teacups out. Kim Kardashian has done a lot of things, broken the internet, broken the Met Gala, broken out into law school, but this time she broke something way more important, an innocent man's entire life. It all started when Kim decided to jump into a full-blown justice crusade to help save a Texas death row inmate named Ivan Cantu. Very noble, very on brand, very I'm the Elle Woods of Calabasas. And 2 days before his execution day, she posted a very dramatic call to action to her millions of followers, except she accidentally posted a photo of the wrong Ivan Cantu. Not the man on D row, not the man in prison, not the man in any trouble whatsoever. I mean, you gotta laugh, guys, right? She posted a regular dude from New York, a project manager living his 9-to-5 life, and basically told her 350 million followers, hey, this man is about to be executed for schmurder. Boom, reputation, obliterated in 0.2 seconds. And when people pointed that out, well, the post was just quietly deleted, like it was just another Facetune mishap. Kim apologized, of course, saying she would never use, his picture if she knew it was the wrong guy, which, yeah, but also, you're a billionaire with a whole team. How did nobody double check the literal face of the man you're trying to save? This isn't guessing a Starbucks order. This is identifying a D-row inmate. The innocent Ivan, the one minding his business, doing nothing, ended up being, of course, humiliated, terrified, and suddenly associated with a brutal double schmurder. He says he stopped sleeping, developed intense anxiety, and basically entered fight or flight mode without ever signing up for the Kardashian cinematic universe. His bosses, coworkers, friends, everyone saw the post. Imagine waking up and finding out Kim Kardashian told the world you're a schmurderer. That's not even a nightmare. That's a public relations obituary. So what did he do? He sued her hard. Defamation, slander, emotional distress, invasion of privacy. I mean, if there was a checkbox, he hit it. And honestly, who wouldn't? One wrong Instagram upload and this man's entire identity got dragged through the dirt. But here's where it gets wild. Kim, of course, arrested, but Kim's legal team fired back, saying she was just using her platform to speak on a major public issue, and the judge agreed. So the lawsuit tossed out, completely dismissed. The court ruled that Kim's post fell under protected free speech and that her mistake, while messy, wasn't malicious. So legally, Kim walked away, handcuffs completely off and gone. But socially, she basically hit this man with a Kardashian-level drive-by character assassination and sped off in a Skims-branded getaway car. Now, the most ironic part, Kim was fighting to save the reputation and life of one Ivan Cantu while completely destroying the reputation and peace of, mind you, another Ivan Cantu who had absolutely nothing to do with any of this. So the wrong man got caught in the crossfire of celebrity activism, and he's the one who paid the emotional price for a mistake he just didn't make. So the real reason Kim Kardashian destroyed this innocent man's life? Simple. In her rush to save one man, she accidentally sacrificed another. Not out of cruelty, but out of carelessness. And when you're that famous, even a small mistake becomes a nuclear bomb in someone else's world. That's the power and the danger of a single Kardashian post. One click, one name, one face, and one innocent man's life changed forever. I love me a good class action lawsuit, and this one might be right up my alley because apparently Skims is being hit with one. Kim, you in danger, girl. So Kim Kardashian might be having one of those billionaire boss babe weeks where the group chat is suddenly very quiet because Skims is now being dragged into a class action lawsuit, and the internet is already acting like somebody yelled fire in a crowded Sephora. So according to reports, a former employee named David Knight is suing Skims, claiming the company failed to properly pay workers while he worked there from October to December 2025 in California. And the allegations are very messy. We are talking unpaid overtime, missed meal breaks, skipped rest periods, and claims that employees were not fully paid for all hours worked. He is also trying to turn this into a full class action lawsuit, which basically means he believes other workers there experience the exact same thing too. Now, before the Kardashians send Kris Jenner into full crisis management mode with, 6 burner phones and a smoothie in hand, let me be very clear here. These are allegations right now. Nothing has been proven in court. You're innocent until proven guilty. We know this. And Kim Kardashian herself is not personally named as a defendant in the lawsuit. But you already know the internet does not care about legal technicalities. The second people saw the words class action lawsuit and Skims in the same sentence, everybody suddenly became a labor law expert overnight. And honestly, the timing could not be worse because Skims has been on a non-stop winning streak for years. Like, celebrities wear it, influencers worship it, half the internet acts like putting on a Skims bodysuit will personally fix their taxes and heal childhood trauma. I mean, the brand became so massive that people started treating it less like shapewear and more like a personality trait. Like, who are you if you don't own a pair of Skims, right? But now people online are side-eyeing the whole thing because this is not even the first legal headache tied to Skims this year or the Kardashian-Jenner clan. I mean, Kylie's getting sued by her housekeepers right now. And earlier in 2026, the company also agreed to pay $200,000 to settle allegations involving sales tax issues in New Jersey after officials claimed customers were improperly charged taxes over multiple years. Skims said that situation was caused by a technical error, whatever that means. So now critics online are basically saying, hold on a second, why does this company keep ending up in legal drama? And social media never misses an opportunity to be dramatic. Some people are already posting things like, maybe the real thing getting squeezed here is the employees' paychecks, which real. I mean, this is insane work, and the internet also, this is exactly the type of stuff and comments that go viral, right? Meanwhile, Skims is denying everything, obviously. The company released a statement saying the lawsuit is basically a recycled legal template used by law firms in California hoping for fast settlements, which, I get it. They said they are fully committed to wage and labor law compliance, and they plan to fight the claims in court, of course. And honestly, this could go one of two ways. Either this lawsuit completely fizzles out like Miss Frizzle and Skims moves on like nothing happened while Kim posts another, perfectly beige Instagram photo pretending stress does not exist for her, or this thing somehow snowballs into a much bigger PR nightmare if more employees start coming forward. Because here's the thing, consumers today are way more aware of how companies treat workers behind the scenes, right? People are not just buying products anymore. They're buying into brands and images and lifestyles. So when a company, built on empowerment, confidence, and body positivity gets gets hit with labor allegations, people are gonna notice, and fast. Also, can we talk about how exhausting it must be to be rich and famous in 2026? I know, first world problems, whatever, but one minute you're selling shapewear, the next minute you are allegedly fighting overtime claims while TikTok detectives make 15-part conspiracy series with, very dramatic music and zoom-ins on your face. Either way, this story is definitely not disappearing anytime soon, and you already know if this lawsuit gets bigger, the internet is going to feast on it like it is an all-you-can-eat Kardashian buffet. So yeah, Skims might still be shaping waist, but right now, this lawsuit is shaping up to be a major, massive headache. Kim Kardashian just admitted she screwed up with North West. Kim Kardashian just went full confession mode, and trust me, this is the kind of admission that makes headlines and has people talking for weeks. Brace yourselves, because this isn't a cute oops moment, it's a total public parenting meltdown. Kim sat down on the Call Her Daddy podcast and got real about raising North West, and spoiler alert, she admits she messed up hard. She specifically mentioned North's style choices, and honestly, it's wild how much this whole thing blew up. North wanted to experiment with a bold look, corset top, short skirt, even blue hair, and Kim and Kanye basically went, whoa, not like this kid. And then, that's when the iconic parenting crash happened. Kim admitted that she and Kanye might have overstepped, not letting North fully express herself in front of the whole world. And let's be honest, when your daughter wants blue hair at age 12 and you freak out publicly, that's not just a mistake, it's like a mini scandal. The truth is this, Kim's reaction was peak celebrity parent panic. She was honest, they literally tried to control her style in the spotlight, and yeah, it backfired, because guess what? North doesn't care what anyone thinks. She's like a tween. Kim revealed that when people criticize North's hair, outfits, or choices, North literally just shrugs it off. She's very confident, very bold, and already fearless in a way that makes Kim's meticulously curated public image look a little fragile. Kim admitted that, their overreaction to North's style was something they did in front of the entire world. Let that sink in. North isn't just experimenting with fashion, she's doing it under a microscope of fame, paparazzi, and social media trolls. And Kim's admitting they handled it poorly, very poorly. That's not just accountability, it's a rare, unfiltered kind of peek, behind the glossy Kardashian veil. But don't get it twisted. Kim isn't saying she's completely hands-off. She still draws lines. She's clear about boundaries in some areas, but for others, like hair color or outfit experimentation, she's learning to kind of take a step back. I mean, that's a major shift from the hyper-managed, always perfect image the Kardashians have been known for. North apparently knows what she wants, and Kim is slowly realizing that micromanaging her in public is probably not a great look. Kim also asked for a little understanding from the public. She reminded everyone that raising kids, especially in the spotlight, is very chaotic, very complicated. She has 4 children, multiple public projects, and yes, sometimes mistakes do happen. And honestly, this is a rare level of vulnerability from Kim. She's admitting straight up that fame and parenting are a very messy combo. She isn't spinning this as some calculated PR movement or move. She's owning a misstep, which in Kardashian terms is almost revolutionary. So let's not ignore the subtle receipts here. Kim has a history of controlling North's image. Remember the blue hair kerfuffle, the corset controversy, and that time North was heavily critiqued for her fashion choices. Well, add in the backdrop of Kanye's concerns, meltdowns, and whatever else about North growing up too fast in the public eye, and suddenly this admission is more than a parenting confession. It's a reflection of a family navigating fame, control, and identity, all under public scrutiny. North West is growing up fast, and Kim's slowly learning she can't micromanage every moment without creating public drama. The best part? North doesn't need permission to shine. She's very confident, bold, and unapologetically herself. Traits Kim is publicly admitting, they tried to suppress in the past. I mean, there's a line in this whole saga when you realize North is already more fearless than the adults trying to control her. That's not shade, it's a fact. Kim isn't perfect, she's human, she's learning. North is fierce, independent, and confident, maybe more so than her mother. And that's both hilarious and terrifying if you're Kim. But the real lesson here, fame doesn't make parenting easier, it just makes your mistakes public and viral. And for those of us watching from the sidelines, this is the most satisfying kind of celebrity confession. Raw, unfiltered, and undeniably entertaining. In the end, Kim owned her screw up. North is thriving anyway. She said herself she simply does not give a F what people think and if they don't like her fashion choices. So yeah, the world watched a style clash turn into a parenting revelation, and honestly, the internet is here for it. North will keep experimenting, Kim will keep learning, and the drama, well, that's guaranteed to continue. Kim Kardashian has just exposed her mother's biggest lie yet. Kim Kardashian just exposed Kris Jenner's biggest lie right on camera, and honestly, it might be one of the funniest but also most telling stories we've ever heard about the Kardashian empire. Leave it to Kim to spill tea about her own mother on national television in front of millions of people. This wasn't some dramatic fight, no screaming match, just Kim casually letting everyone know how far Kris Jenner will go to get what she wants. And it all started with what Kim thought was a professional opportunity. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. So here's what happened. Years ago, way before Keeping Up with the Kardashians was even a thing, Kris Jenner convinced Kim that she had set her up for a job interview. Kim shows up thinking she's about to pitch her skills, maybe land a new gig, maybe finally get something outside of the family hustle. She even brought a resume with her. Imagine Kim Kardashian sitting there with an actual resume in hand, prepared to talk about her career goals. The only problem, Kris never booked her a job interview. She booked her daughter a blind date. Yep, Kris told Kim one thing and told the guy something completely different. To him, it was a date. To Kim, it was supposed to be work. So Kim shows up, looks around, within the first 5 minutes realizes she's not talking about her qualifications or her career at all. She's sitting across from a man who thinks this is a romantic setup. Kim said she literally put her resume away and just tried to play it cool, but she knew immediately she had been tricked by her own mother. Now, the best part is that there was zero chemistry. Kim admitted the date went absolutely nowhere. It was awkward, uncomfortable, and she left thinking, wow, my mom just completely lied to me. She even joked that the guy probably didn't realize until years later what had actually gone down, that Kris Jenner was running a con from both sides. On one hand, she tells her daughter she's going to a professional meeting, and on the other hand, she tells a random guy he's about to meet Kim Kardashian on a date. It's classic Kris, but it also says a lot about the way she operates, because here's the thing, this wasn't just a silly little setup gone wrong, this was Kris Jenner showing the world exactly how she thinks. She was already pulling strings, already shaping stories, already bending reality to make things happen before cameras ever rolled, before the Kardashian brand became the Kardashian brand. Kris was plotting like a chess master. And this story proves that if Kris wants something, she'll twist the narrative, even if it means lying to her own daughter. And honestly, the fact that Kim exposed this on television makes it even better. She could have kept that moment a family secret, but instead she turned it into entertainment. And not just entertainment, it's a moment that reveals so much about the family dynamic. Kim exposing it is now, her way of saying, I see what you did and I survived it. And honestly, it makes you wonder how many other stories like this are sitting in the Kardashian vault waiting for the right moment to be revealed. One thing's for sure, Kris Jenner may be the mastermind, but Kim Kardashian knows how to flip the script, and she just did it again perfectly in the most viral way possible. Are Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble headed for Splitsville? Maybe. And is he planning to blackmail the Kardashians? Also a maybe. Well, let's dig into it. All right, buckle up, because we've got a Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble showdown that's giving Keeping Up with the Kardashians real life drama vibes, but this time it's kind of less reality TV and more like reality threat. Word on the street is that Kris and her longtime boyfriend Corey are teetering on the edge of a breakup, but here's where it gets a little juicy. Apparently the split isn't happening clean. Corey isn't just walking away, he's allegedly demanding some serious compensation for the hell he says he's endured over the years, and if Kris doesn't pay up, well, he might just spill some family secrets. Yeah, we're talking blackmail level drama. Every source says the relationship has been hanging on literally by a thread for a while now. Picture it, every event, every night out ends with tension. It's practically routine at this point. And we're not talking about behind closed doors drama that is happening in public in front of Hollywood royalty. At Jeff Bezos' wedding in Venice last month, things apparently got really heated between them, but that was just a warm-up act. Fast forward to Beyonce's Cowboy Carter concert in Vegas on July 26th, and Kris and Corey were back at it again. They had a blow-up in the VIP section. Kris stormed off and Corey was left visibly agitated. And who had to step in? Well, none other than Khloe Kardashian, trying to calm Corey down before things spiraled even further. One insider even said Kris has this habit of kind of ridiculing Corey in public, making him the punchline of all her jokes, and he's finally just had enough, which is fair. He doesn't want to be her doormat anymore, and now everyone's getting a front row seat to the tension. But here's the kicker, Corey isn't just hurt, he wants his payday. He's been in Kris's life for nearly a decade, and according to him, he's played every role you can possibly imagine: protector, business partner, assistant, confidant, lover, the glue that's kept the family together during some of their wildest storms. norms. And now he's basically saying, well, where's my cut? Let's not forget, before Corey entered Kris's world, he had his own career. I mean, he was a respected talent manager with connections in the music industry, and he put all of that on pause to step into the whole Kardashian-Jenner circus. From his perspective, he gave up a promising career, endured public shade, and sacrificed his own path to support Kris. Now with the relationship unraveling, he feels he deserves to be made whole. What are we actually watching here? Well, is this just a messy breakup, a business negotiation disguised as a relationship, or a power play where secrets become bargaining chips? Honestly, it feels like all of the above to me. And this is where it gets scary for Kris, because if Corey really does spill the tea, we're talking Kardashian secrets that could rattle the entire empire. This isn't just about Kris losing her boyfriend, it's about potentially losing control of her family's carefully crafted narrative. So get your popcorn, because this isn't ending quietly. I mean, Corey's demands, Kris's empire, and the looming threat of exposed secrets, this saga could reshape the Kardashian dynasty. Lamar Odom has been exposed. Khloe Kardashian reveals shocking details in the new documentary on Netflix. If you thought you knew the story of Lamar Odom and Khloe Kardashian, think again, because this new documentary is peeling it back in a way that's honestly a little uncomfortable, to say the least. We're not talking about the polished E-network fairy tale version. This is the messy, behind the scenes, wait, that's why, or that's what's happening version. So according to the documentary, one of the biggest bombshells is Lamar's real motive going into the relationship. And let's just say it wasn't exactly love at first sight the way it was sold to us. The narrative we all watched was whirlwind romance, instant chemistry, Vegas wedding vibes, but behind the scenes, there were other factors at play, including timing, opportunity, and yes, fame. And listen, I'm not saying Khloe wasn't all in, because she clearly was. She was riding hard for that man, defending him like it was a full-time job. But the documentary suggests Lamar may have seen the relationship as more than just emotional. It was strategic too. Being tied to one of the most powerful families in pop culture, I mean, that comes with a lot of perks, attention, and a whole new level of visibility. Now here's where it gets even messier. Khloe apparently opens up about just how deep Lamar's struggles really went during their marriage, and not the surface level stuff we hear about, in the headlines. We're talking about a lifestyle that was spiraling way faster and way darker than what was publicly known at the time. And she was dealing with it all largely behind closed doors, trying to hold everything together while the world watched their perfect relationship. So imagine trying to play wife, crisis manager, and PR shield all at once. It's exhausting. I mean, it doesn't even begin to cover it. And the documentary doesn't hold back on Lamar either. He admits to cheating a lot. Not just once, not just a mistake, a pattern, multiple women, multiple situations, all while maintaining this public image as Khloe's devoted husband. It's giving double life. It's giving bold, audacious. But what really hits is the contrast, because while he was out here moving reckless, Khloe was apparently going above and beyond to protect him, even covering things up to avoid public humiliation for him, which, let's be honest, is a level of loyalty that most people would not survive emotionally. And then there's the part that makes everything click into place. His downward spiral didn't just affect their relationship, it completely consumed it. The substance dependency issues, the secrecy, the betrayals. It wasn't just cracks in the foundation, it was the whole house collapsing. On screen in the documentary, the former NBA player says, "I had 12 strokes and 6 heart attacks," recalling his 2015 ordeal following his OD. He continued to say, "That's not average SHIT. I was dead for 3 days. I made it though." Khloe recalls on screen that she got a phone call from a woman who told her, "I've been sleeping with your husband." His mistress was freaked out by how messed up he was on these substances. Khloe says, and told her, "I've got to get off of this ride. Can you pick him up?" Khloe said that she was looking for him in alleys, looking for him in motels, adding that he would leave illegal substance, paraphernalia such as spoons and tinfoil around hotel rooms. I mean, she says that she used to go to hotel rooms to clean up after him so that the housekeeping employees didn't sell a story about his using, She said, and I'm paraphrasing, "I was such an enabler without knowing I was an enabler," adding that she felt, a responsibility to cover up her then husband's substance problem to protect him. Now, Lamar was hospitalized for around 4 months following his OD. Khloe recalls that in the beginning when people came to visit, and I quote, she said, "I found out that 3 of them were dealers that were wanting to collect money, rummaging through his personal bags, and now following that incident, she decided to go on lockdown and said that she needed to authorize any visitors. So, when people used to ask, why did Khloe stay so long? I mean, this documentary kind of answers that without saying it outright. I mean, love, loyalty, honestly, probably hope that he'd change, hope that, the man she married would come back. But here's the brutal truth the documentary makes very clear. Sometimes the version of someone you fall in love with isn't the version they actually are long term, and that's the part that stings, because in hindsight, this wasn't just a relationship. It was like a full-blown emotional roller coaster disguised as a fairy tale. And now that we're finally hearing the unfiltered version, it's like, oh, yeah, this makes way more sense. Something is seriously wrong with Kanye West, and the Kardashians are to blame. Let's just say the quiet part out loud. Something is seriously wrong with Kanye West. And no, this didn't just fall out of the sky one day. This wasn't a random switch flipping. This was a very slow public unraveling that played out in front of millions, with cameras rolling, contracts signed, and a family that absolutely knew better. Because here's the thing everyone keeps pretending not to notice. Kanye didn't spiral alone. He spiraled inside one of the most powerful, image-obsessed, fame-fueled families on the planet. And somehow we're all supposed to act shocked by the result. Kanye West has always been eccentric. That's not new. Creative, outspoken, intense. That was part of the package. But there's a massive difference between creative genius and clearly unwell men, being kind of paraded as entertainment. And the Kardashians blurred that line so hard it basically disappeared. From the very beginning, Kanye's struggles were they weren't private, they were content. His breakdowns weren't treated like warning signs, they were treated like storylines. Confessions became clips, manic episodes became memes, emotional chaos became a season arc, and instead of stepping in, slowing down, or removing the spotlight, the machine did what it always does. It monetized. And let's be very clear here, the family knows exactly how media works, they know how narratives are shaped, they know how public perception is managed, they know when to hide things and when to showcase them. So when Kanye was unraveling on Twitter at 3 a.m. when he was saying things that clearly showed, paranoia, delusion, and distress, this wasn't ignorance, this was negligence wrapped in brand strategy. Kim Kardashian didn't just marry Kanye, she married his mind, and then, invited the world inside of it. And yes, Kanye is responsible for his own actions, I get that matters, but pretending the Kardashians were innocent bystanders while benefiting from the chaos, please, that's rewriting history. They normalized his instability because it made him unpredictable, and unpredictable equals headlines. Every outburst pushed the brand further into the cultural conversation. Every controversy fueled ratings, every breakdown made people click, and when things get too uncomfortable, well, that's when the narrative flipped. Suddenly, Kanye wasn't the misunderstood artist anymore, he was the problem, the liability, the embarrassment. Notice how fast the sympathy disappeared once he stopped being useful? Once Kanye stopped playing the role, once he became uncontrollable instead of marketable, that's when the distancing started. That's when he was, language came out. And that's when responsibility quietly vanished. But, mental health doesn't work like a PR crisis. You don't get to profit from someone's instability and then wash your hands of it when it gets messy. And here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to talk about or sit with. Kanye's current state didn't happen after the Kardashians. It was intensified within that environment. A world of constant cameras, zero boundaries, absolute, validation, no grounding, no stillness, no accountability, just exposure, praise, pressure, and performance on repeat. That environment is toxic for a healthy person. So for someone already struggling, it's gasoline on fire. Now fast forward to today, Kanye's isolated, erratic, extreme, saying things that damage not only himself, but entire communities, and everyone suddenly wants to act like this is shocking. It's not shocking, it's tragic, and it's preventable, because at some point, someone should have chosen protection over profit, humanity over headlines, intervention over entertainment, but that's not how the family operates. They don't stop the cameras when things get dark, they actually turn the lights a little bit brighter. So yes, Kanye West is responsible for Kanye West, but the Kardashians didn't just watch this happen, they benefited from it. And now we're watching the aftermath of a man who was never given the space to heal, only the stage to self-destruct. And that is not iconic. For years, Justin Bieber and the Kardashians have seemed to have a very tumultuous relationship. So what really happened? Well, let's dig in. Back in 2010, Justin Bieber was 16 when he starred in a glamorous Elle magazine photo shoot with Kim Kardashian called The Graduate. Kim was in her late 20s and the age gap made fans very uncomfortable. But then Bieber posted a picture joking, "Look, it's my girlfriend." And chaos followed, of course. Fans accused Kim of being inappropriate, tabloids ran wild, and both had to laugh it off. Bieber later called Kim a very hot friend, but the drama set the stage for years of speculation. Now fast forward to 2014 when Kendall Jenner became the next rumor. Paparazzi spotted her and Bieber having dinner together in Paris during Fashion Week, and instantly the internet decided they were dating. Justin denied anything serious, but their close appearances at parties and events kept fueling the fire. Was it a fling? Was it just a friendship? Fans couldn't decide, and then things escalated when Bieber was linked to Kendall's older sister Kourtney. He just running through them. By late 2015, Bieber and Kourtney Kardashian were seen everywhere, leaving clubs together, spotted at the Nice Guy, hanging out at karaoke lounges, even rumors of late-night hotel visits. Sources claimed it was casual, but Bieber didn't exactly deny it. Now, on the Burt Show, he joked saying, "I'm being used, man," and then quickly added, no, she's great. Social media went insane when Bieber captioned a post saying, "Lord knows," which many thought was aimed directly at Scott Disick, Kourtney's ex, who calls himself Lord Disick. The scandal grew even bigger when conspiracy theories claimed Bieber might be the father of Kourtney's youngest son, Rain. The rumor spread so far that years later, Rain himself shut it down, saying Scott is his dad and laughing off the Bieber connection. Social media was the gasoline on all of this, of course. Bieber's tweet about Kim calling her his girlfriend, his cryptic Lord knows post during the Kourtney saga. Fans were ready to interpret literally every move, every caption, every photo as evidence of something deeper. The Kardashians knew exactly how to ride this wave, while Bieber was stuck being the teenage superstar whose every friendship turned into a headline. So what's the real here, and what was pure gossip? Well, confirmed Bieber and Kourtney had a short fling in 2015-2016. Confirmed his 2010 photo shoot with Kim Kardashian was real, but not romantic, allegedly. Confirmed he and Kendall hung out, but both denied it was serious. Completely debunked was the theory, though, that Bieber fathered Rain Disick. That one, was nothing more than tabloids running wild. The only sister who seemingly has no involvement with JB is Khloe Kardashian. And yes, honestly, I love that for her. Looking back, it's clear the Bieber-Kardashian connection was never about love stories so much as it was about the power of celebrity culture. Justin was growing up under the brightest spotlight in pop history, and the Kardashians were building their empire on headlines. Together, they created like the perfect storm of rumors, memes, and paparazzi moments that defined an era. Today, Bieber is focused, of course, on his marriage and new albums and Skylark, and the Kardashians are raising families, and that wild chapter is just in the past. But the photos, the captions, and the chaos. The Kardashians film crew may seem to film it all, but there's some stuff they are absolutely forbidden to. They say cameras don't lie, but in Calabasas, even the truth gets glam filtered. The Kardashians built an empire off reality, but there's a long list of things the crew was flat out forbidden to film. Let's just say behind all the diamonds, the contour, and the chaos, the real secrets stayed off camera. First up, Kylie Jenner's secret pregnancy. Now, the crew knew before the public did. They literally filmed her finding out she was pregnant and still had to pretend like nothing happened. Imagine being at work filming a global bombshell, and being told, shh, act normal, that's some next level NDA energy. Then there's Kim, the unofficial director of everyone's drama. The crew says Kim used to tip them off about where the good chaos was happening, like go to Kourtney's house, there's something going down there. Basically, she wasn't just starring in the show, she was producing the storylines. Kris Jenner walked, basically, so Kim Kardashian could executive produce. Now, Khloe's love life is another one though, and this was a different story. When she married Lamar Odom, she apparently didn't even want all of that filmed. But reality TV doesn't stop for feelings, right? That's the dark side of fame, living through real heartbreak with a full lighting setup and, boom mic inches from your face. And let's not forget the ugly angle rule. Now, Kim has admitted she'll straight up ask producers to delete any footage where she doesn't think she looks good. So yeah, reality TV, but make it feel unfiltered, face-tuned, and editor-approved. Every argument, every cry, every breakdown trimmed down until it's still, emotional, but never messy. Now, speaking of privacy, the crew once knew about Khloe's pregnancy also before even her own family. That's how deep these camera operators were in the Kardashian circle. I mean, these people were basically part of the family, just unpaid in fame and filtered out of every group photo. And Kendall, well, she's the one Kardashian who keeps her love life off limits completely. She made a rule that no relationship makes it on camera unless it's lasted at least a year. Translation, well, if it's not long term, it's not TV material. When things get too personal, like, breakdown in the bathroom personal, they don't bring in the full crew. They actually allegedly use one camera person with an iPhone. Literally, one person, one phone, catching, these raw moments that still feel cinematic. It's the Kardashian version of kind of authenticity. It's still aesthetic, but still perfectly lit as well. And those massive mansions you always see them pulling up to, well, sometimes not even their house. It's not even their real homes. Yep. A lot of those exterior shots are decoy homes because if you're the most famous family in America, you just can't have fans showing up to your front gate at like 3 a.m. to reenact Keeping Up, right? The Kardashians didn't just redefine celebrity, they redefined, what's real and what that even means. So next time, you're binge watching their show and you think, wow, that's raw, just remember, if you saw it, it's because they wanted you to. Keeping up with the Kardashians coming clean has been a full-time job, and finally, the truth about their plastic surgery has been revealed. Few families in Hollywood have been as scrutinized for their physical transformations as the Kardashian Jenners. They have been criticized for seemingly lying about or avoiding openly discussing their plastic surgery procedures, which may be due to a combination of factors. Some speculate that they want to maintain the perception of natural beauty to continue building their brands and influence. Others suggest that they may fear backlash or negative attention if they are perceived as promoting unrealistic beauty standards. Additionally, there's a potential for lawsuits or negative publicity if they admit to certain procedures as seen in the past. Now, both on social media and in interviews with the press, Kim, Khloe, Kylie, Kourtney, Kris, and Kendall have faced endless questions about whether or not they've undergone plastic surgery, and in some cases, they've come under fire for denying certain procedures. It isn't new for someone to hop on a mic and ask, a Kardashian to reveal the specifics of their plastic surgeries, but it is new for one of them to respond. Kylie Jenner has not always openly acknowledged undergoing breast augmentation surgery. She initially denied having work done on her breast, but ended up confirming it on the Kardashians. She even shared details about a second procedure, including the size of her implants, on TikTok recently. Responding to a comment, she said, 445cc, moderate profile, half under the muscle, silicone, Garth Fisher, hope this helps, LOL. Jenner has also expressed regret over her decision to get, breast implants before becoming a mother. Her providing the details of her implants was an instantly viral moment, probably because Kylie hadn't even confirmed she had a second breast augmentation to begin with. Now, this shortly follows Kris Jenner shocking the world just a couple weeks ago, with a new face that looked decades younger. Though she didn't come right out to reveal what she'd had done, she didn't deny mass speculation that a facelift was the culprit either. In fact, the representatives confirmed that she had recent work done by Stephen Levine. Now, they didn't specify what procedure she's undergone, but seeing as Dr. Levine specializes in facelifts, the internet, put two and two together. Kim Kardashian has come a long way since her first brush with Botox during a 2010 episode of Keeping Up. Now, the reality star wrote on her now defunct blog that, she freaked out over facial bruising following the injection. She said in the episode, "I'm feeling like my eyes are on fire. What if, he hit a nerve? Seriously, I know this is not normal. What I am feeling is not normal." However, she's since admitted to having a little bit of Botox, but no filler, in her face during a 2022 Alert interview and getting Botox injections in her neck on a 2023 episode of The Kardashians. So why are they bearing it all now? Well, like always, the Kardashians follow trends, and it seems as though right now it's on trend to admit to getting work done. They also may just be tired of lying, but what do you guys think though? Is there a bigger reason they are suddenly being honest with their fans? Is Kim Kardashian okay? People are asking, where are her organs? Kim Kardashian has officially out-Kimmed herself again. The internet is spiraling over her latest look, this time not because it's jaw-droppingly fabulous, but because, well, people genuinely want to know, where are her organs? So let's set the scene. Kim steps out at the Balenciaga Couture show in Paris looking like a walking sculpture. Not even exaggerating, she's in a black corseted dress, so cinched at the waist it looks like she left her internal organs in the Uber. Her waist non-existent, her ribs probably on vacation, her posture somewhere between Barbie and Beetlejuice's kind of shrunken head guy. Naturally, the photos of the outfit hit the internet and TikTok went full detective mode, and by detective I mean everyone turned into Grey's Anatomy interns trying to figure out where her spleen might be hiding. One person straight up asked, where are her organs? Another said, sis doesn't have lungs anymore. And look, they're not being dramatic, okay? I mean, maybe a little, but the dress truly looks like it defies basic biology. Some users even started referencing, vintage Kim, like remember 2008 Kim, Calabasas Kim, back when her waist actually had room for a pancreas and a functioning large intestine. I mean, fans are comparing that to now and wondering how we got from there to this alien-waisted Balenciaga bot version. And it's bad when people start genuinely getting worried. I mean, one comment read, "This is terrifying, it's gone too far." Another person said, "This should be illegal." I mean, the concern isn't just about aesthetics anymore, it's about the pressure these extreme looks place on people watching, especially young girls. When the most famous woman in the world is walking around looking like her ribcage got vacuum sealed, I mean, people are going to question their own bodies now. And that's not a flex, it's a problem. Now let's talk about the designer of the day. Balenciaga, the same brand that once made $1,800 platform Crocs and sent models down the runway looking like glitchy Sims. Their vibe has always been fashion, but make it confusing. And Kim, I mean, she's their muse, but this look, took high fashion into Hunger Games capital territory. This is not Kim's first time with cartoonish proportions either. Let's not forget 2019 Met Gala when she wore that, muggler wet look dress. She later admitted that she could barely sit or even pee in it. Like, that's a red flag, right? If your dress comes with a bladder warning, maybe fashion has gone too far. And before the trolls start crying jealousy or it's just a corset, let's remember, even corsets have limits. This isn't about hating on Kim's body. Kim's body is hers to sculpt, train, surgically enhance, whatever. But when your body starts to look physically impossible and people can't tell if your waist is edited or surgically reshaped or literally being held together with prayer and Balenciaga thread, people are going to talk. And let's not pretend this doesn't influence the masses. Kim's not just another influencer, she is the influence. When she steps out with a 12-inch waist, thousands of people rush to waist trainers and sketchy shaper sites hoping to replicate the look. Except most bodies don't work like that. Most lungs actually need space. Most organs don't, vibe with compression to that degree. It's not hate, it's basic anatomy. It's also worth pointing out that Kim didn't post many full body shots of this outfit herself. That's unusual for her. Usually if she's wearing something that makes the internet collapse, she's posting angles, slow-mo walks, 4K reels. This time crickets. That has people wondering, did she Photoshop it? Is the waist real? Are we being trolled? Is this AI? Or are we just seeing the final boss of Kardashian contouring? At the end of the day, Kim Kardashian is gonna Kim Kardashian. She's built an empire off breaking the internet and warping beauty standards, but maybe, just maybe, this latest look is less of a fashion serve and more of a health scare in couture form. Because when the collective response to your outfit isn't she looks amazing, but rather it's where are her kidneys, it might be time to loosen the corset. Overrated or overstimulated, too much Kardashian drama has made fans turn against them. The reality royalty fam is over and cancelled. Kim Kardashian is now contemplating a court request to strip ex-husband Kanye West of custody of their kids after new drama has unfolded, and fans are over it all. Kim is reportedly considering changing her custody agreement with West after he released a song featuring their eldest child, daughter Northwest, without her approval. Physical custody is reportedly not an issue, as the rapper rarely sees his kids, and Kardashian still wants them to have, a good relationship with their father. However, it's a different story when it comes to decision making for their kids. The former couple's divorce agreement reportedly states that they must attend a private hearing with a judge in the event there's a conflict regarding their children. However, after this weekend's debacle, it has become very clear that the rapper refuses to abide by the rules of their agreement. Kardashian requested an emergency hearing with their lawyers, a mediator, and a judge after learning West was planning to drop a song featuring their eldest daughter North and disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Now, although Kanye skipped the meeting, he reportedly agreed not to release the track titled titled Lonely Roads Still Go to Sunshine. However, he went back on his word and dropped the song on X one day later, declaring that, men make the final decision. The rapper also shared a heated text exchange between himself and Kardashian, who made it very clear she did not want their daughter involved with the jailed Bad Boys record mogul. Kanye seemed furious about Kardashian sending him a cease and desist letter and trademarking their daughter's name, despite it allegedly being a decision they made together. He allegedly texted his ex-wife in the now since deleted upload, of course. The text said, "I'm never speaking with you again." However, Kardashian claimed they had agreed to trademark all of their kids' names when they were born so that no one else would take them. She replied saying, "I asked you at the time if I can trademark her name. You said yes. When she's 18, it goes to her. So stop. I sent paperwork over so she wouldn't be in the Diddy song to protect her." Kanye asked her to amend the legal papers or risk going to war. He also threatened her, adding, "And neither of us will recover from the public fallout. You're going to have to unalive me." So dramatic, I can't. Soon after, he went on a very lengthy X rant like usual, accusing the Kardashian mogul of restricting, his parenting abilities and comparing their current custody agreement to visitations in jail. Messy, problematic, and chaotic. Fans are done with this drama. It's above them now. The Kardashian family launched a debit card with ridiculously high fees. Back in 2010, the Kardashians launched the Kardashian card, a very short-lived prepaid debit card so that fans could live, a life of luxury similar to the family. It was issued by the University National Bank, which actually later changed their name to Sunrise Bank, and they are known to issue prepaid cards with insane fees though. So yearly fees, monthly fees, card purchase fees, card replacement fees, ATM withdrawal fees, even a fee to just check your balance at an ATM. Who would want this? Nobody. Unfortunately, well actually fortunately, because the card ended up having these insane fees, including a $100 per year membership fee, and for very obvious other reasons, the card did not do well, clearly. You don't say. Now, Forbes actually described it as one of the worst financial products ever introduced ever. The family seemed to have missed the memo that not everyone could afford those kinds of fees for a debit card, and the Connecticut Attorney General even accused the family of unfairly targeting financially unsophisticated young adults. It took less than a month for the whole thing to get shut down, which would explain why it's likely you, me, everyone else has not heard of it till now. When Kendall denied allegations that her modeling career was handed to her in many interviews, it officially made people hate her and turn against the catwalker. There's no doubt that Kendall works hard as a model, but she raised some eyebrows when she shared conflicting statements about the origins of her modeling career. While Kendall said she did everything she was supposed to do to get her to her current position in the industry, there's no denying the fact that her family status played a very big role in propelling her to being, one of the most famous models in the world. In fact, elsewhere in an interview, Kendall explains that when she was 14, she presented a homemade modeling book to her mom, and then she did her, Kris Jenner momager thing and made it all just come to life. Jenner has, modeled for designers including Karl Lagerfeld, Fendi, Calvin Klein, Chanel, so many others. In 2018, Forbes actually named her the highest paid model in the world. Kylie Jenner said she was self-made despite coming from a really wealthy and famous family. In 2019, Kylie Jenner was named the world's youngest self-made billionaire by Forbes, but a lot of fans had an issue with that title. Not only did the financials end up being a little off, but many people thought self-made wasn't an accurate title for Kylie, who grew up with immense wealth and privilege. Fans shared that it probably wouldn't have been possible for Kylie to start her business on her own if she had not had the platform her family had provided. Kylie later responded to critics explaining that her parents, cut her off at a young age, so she had no financial assistance in starting her own business, blah, blah, blah. Kylie told Paper Magazine, "My parents told me I needed to make my own money. It's time to learn how to save and spend your own money," stuff like that. What I'm trying to say is, I did have a platform, but none of my money is inherited. Jenner has said that she credits her success to social media and her large following. Kinda true. She has said that she was able to advertise her products directly to her fans with little marketing expense. And just like her big sis Kendall, she has faced immense backlash for several reasons. Some honorable mentions include, lying about her net worth and exaggerating her role in building her cosmetic company. She's also been accused of cultural appropriation, just like her sisters, and of course she's faced a lot of criticism for promoting very unrealistic beauty standards and using Photoshop and editing masking tools on literally all of her photos and videos. Kim losing her diamond earring might have been in the first 5 moments fans started turning against the family. You know this one well, at least you should. Kim's then boyfriend Kris Humphries tossed her into the ocean, and her $75,000 earring was a casualty. The force of the throw caused a diamond earring, which was a part of a larger necklace, to actually come off and fall into the ocean. Kim had a significant emotional reaction to the loss, full-blown like breakdown, crying and expressing her distress over the missing earring. Kim and her sister Khloe frantically searched for the lost diamond, even joking about where it might be. The earring was never found, and the incident became a viral moment on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Kim Kardashian's Aaliyah Halloween costume had her fans turning against her immediately. The costume specifically recreated the look from Aaliyah's Try Again music video, which included a custom bra top and J brand leather pants. Now, many criticized Kim's costume, arguing it was insensitive and disrespectful to Aaliyah, who was a black singer and a cultural icon. Now, the social media mogul issued an apology after many Twitter users at the time called her Aaliyah Halloween costume offensive, right, in October of 2017. Kim actually wrote on her website saying Aaliyah was such an amazing singer and she will forever be a music legend. I saw online that some people thought my costume was in poor taste, and I am truly sorry if that offended anyone. We don't see color in my home. We were paying homage to people and artists we love and respect. It's that simple. Kim's designer debacle. Kimmy sparked, a lot of irritation from fans when she posted a now deleted video showcasing free goods she received from Dolce & Gabbana to her Instagram stories back in January of 2019. Followers were outraged by the post, with many pointing out that the controversial brand has come under fire multiple times over the years, most notably for a 2015 interview with Italian magazine Panorama, in which designing duo Stefano Gabbana and Domenico Dolce referred to IVF babies as chemical offsprings and synthetic children. That's wild. And to note off of that, Kim actually became pregnant with her second child, Saint, through IVF. So yeah. Dolce later apologized for, his inappropriate words, but the damage was done. Now, footage from when Kim told women in business they needed to get their bleeping behind up and work has completely turned her fans off, like permanently. It's 100% easier to be successful when you're a Kardashian, but that seemed to have slipped Kim's mind when she dished out some advice to working women. Despite the fact that Kim was born into a very wealthy, well-connected family, skyrocketed to fame thanks to TV and that tape we won't talk about, she explained that she thought the problem with people in business was that no one wanted to work. Kim told Variety, "Get your bleeping behind up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work and have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do." And while that is true, yes, you do have to work hard to reap benefits. It's definitely not as simple as that for people who aren't born into wealth and fame. Kim faced backlash from viewers, called her out for ignoring her upbringing's role in her success, and how many people do work hard but aren't even financially compensated for it. Now, despite this footage being a couple years old now, it still is being talked about today. I'm talking about it right now. It's still messy and people are still mad.
Back in 2014 to 2016, Kris really did have to work to prevent some photos from leaking. The unexpected part was that they were her own private images because someone had hacked her iCloud. Christina, aka the woman that hacked the iCloud, was indicted by a grand jury in 2016. Not only did she hack the cloud, she also sent some pretty messed up texts to Kris and co, assistant, then husband, and other family members. She also, I guess, sent texts pretending to be Kris to Kris's kids and partner. She claimed that she put tracking devices on their cars and would message people that Kris had serious diseases, but it goes even further. The hacker also impersonated the famous matriarch over the phone, allegedly even occasionally calling the authorities with fake emergencies or swatting the family. Swatting referring to calling in fake emergencies that are serious enough to have someone's home checked out by SWAT teams. Just overall being an absolute headache and causing a lot of heartache. Then, of course, there were the accusations regarding social media, because if the hacker got into the iCloud, it really would only be a matter of time before social media sites like Instagram would be compromised. Allegedly, the hacker posted demeaning things about Kris's family as Kris, even going so far as to post phone numbers. And for a family as famous as this, that really is a big problem. Plus, no one wants their mom roasting them on the internet. It was also revealed that the stalker somehow got access to Kourtney's AOL account, so that means she didn't just get the username and password, but answers to the security questions too. The hacker did allegedly get access to the famous sister's emails. It actually ended up happening again with someone else in the family, however, the persecutors were reluctant to share their name. Per online. The stalker was indicted for 6 counts of stalking, 4 counts of computer hacking, 1 count of extortion by threat, and 4 counts of aggravated identity theft related to the computer hacking offenses. Just like a laundry list of bad things. This isn't even the first time that Kris Jenner has been hacked, and I almost wonder if Christina was helped by a previous incident. Back in 2013, Kris Jenner and Kim Kardashian's contact information was leaked by hackers and posted to a website with just like a bunch of other celebrities' personal data. Just a few years ago, an unauthorized photo of Khloe Kardashian was accidentally shared, leading to the famous family doing everything they could to scrub it from the internet. Here's the thing, the photo isn't scandalous, it isn't unflattering, in my opinion, she isn't doing anything offensive. It is literally just a photo of Khloe in a bikini by the pool. She's holding her phone in one hand and smiling for the camera, and that is literally it. That's the whole photo. However, there isn't any filter on the photo. Many photos posted by the sisters and, well, a lot of big celebrities, they use filters to smooth out the skin, smooth out the makeup, shape the body, whatever, right? People are used to seeing an airbrushed look to the family that getting an unfiltered iPhone photo shot was definitely a moment. However, they do occasionally post unfiltered photos, so why was this one a big deal? Well, they said the internet couldn't have it and started contacting people to take it down or risk legal action. So pretty soon, people started sharing it simply because they were told no. Then it became people wanting to see the photo that people were risking legal action from one of Hollywood's richest families for. Then people just being confused why she would want the picture to disappear considering she looks good. Eventually, fans got answers. The reason it had to go was simply because it was unauthorized. One of the many Kardashian or Jenner assistants posted the photo without, I guess, checking the right avenues. The official statement from Chief KKW Marketing Officer Tracy Romulus was, the color-edited photo was taken of Khloe during a private family gathering and posted to social media without permission by mistake by an assistant. Khloe looks beautiful, but it is within the right of the copyright owner to not want an image not intended to be published taken down. For a family of women that have had their every move picked apart, it's understandable that they would want to control exactly what gets out there about them. Of course, the picture is still out on the internet. Khloe ended up posting some photos herself shortly after this went viral. Right now, having a photo with Diddy is like a guilty verdict to the internet, and Kris Jenner doesn't just have one, she's got a whole collection, plus past interviews with him, even one where he admitted that he once had a crush on her. Yeah, so the Kardashian Jenners, it's no secret that to help maintain their status, they interact with other people at the same level of fame, and like it or not, Diddy was one of those people. He was at the top of the food chain when it came to hosting parties and having famous friends. Kris Jenner posted many selfies with the man over the years. It appears that she was quite close with him, and one can assume that she and her daughters received many invites to his parties. I mean, we know that they did because they have been photographed and videotaped at them many times. This has led to people wondering what the famous family knew and if they kept anything quiet. Khloe once spoke about her experience at a Diddy party in a 2014 episode of the reality show. She made claims that many of the attendees were unclothed, and then previously in the episode she had been talking about all the big names that she saw there, and now of course people are wondering if she was at just like a regular Diddy party or the type that he is now in jail for. But back to Kris Jenner, because there is an absolutely wild story circulating online right now regarding the matriarch. One woman that is claimed to be a Diddy victim has shared a troubling story involving not just the disgraced rapper, but also Kris Jenner and Jennifer Lopez. Adria English joined the Lionel B Show podcast to share a story from someone she knew that was allegedly a Diddy victim. She claims that her homegirl was harmed in a ritual to conjure up demons, that J-Lo was damaging her skin using glass, and that Kris Jenner watched. English claims that in order for the girl to escape, she had to pierce Kris's shoulder with the glass. English says that if you look back at past interviews, Kris says that she'd once been pierced. Different word, but hopefully you get it. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find anything that indicated that Kardashian has ever been involved in an incident like that. She doesn't appear to have a scar on either of her shoulders either, and she's worn a lot of clothes that's shown off her shoulders and collarbone. The interview has gathered about 710,000 views on YouTube, with a comment section overwhelmingly in favor of English. Again, I couldn't find anything to support her claims, but Diddy's trial is coming up very soon, so maybe we will get answers then. In an early season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, you might have seen Kim and Kourtney pretty upset over some photos nearly being leaked to the press. Well, fan speculation and facts go hand in hand. Kim K's first husband seemingly wasn't the nicest guy. There are court documents that accuse the man of being physically and mentally rough with the reality TV star. Of course, this was like before the show, so we never actually saw any of that on camera, but the description of the alleged events are hard to read. Anyways, fans speculate that this ex-husband was threatening to release some photos of Kourtney, or like Kim and Kourtney, that had them in compromising positions on their own, and some people even claim with each other, which is a whole other can of worms, and is generally proven to be false or a salacious rumor. The photos that have been confirmed to nearly have been leaked by the ex, they only show Kourtney. However, she isn't in a great position, and to make matters worse, the family claims that she wasn't 18 yet, so yeah, no wonder they didn't want this hitting the press. People speculate that Kim was involved in the photos young too, because she was very upset about the thought of them getting released. However, considering what we know about her first husband, the reaction does make sense. And then finally, Caitlyn Jenner did cause an accident that led to a fatality. Despite having such a serious outcome, people don't really talk about this a lot. It did happen while Caitlyn was coming out, so people were focused on something very different. However, fans online speculate that the family has done things to minimize the media coverage of the incident. In the end, it's not difficult information to find if you're looking for it, and once you go searching, you will see that. Though Jenner didn't go to jail for the incident, she did have to pay about $800,000 to settle one of the lawsuits. It was found that Jenner was going under the speed limit and did hit the brakes, but it wasn't enough to stop the incident from happening. Honestly, it is a miracle that things didn't go worse. Jenner caused a 4-car pileup, one of which had a whole family inside, including young ones. While it is heartbreaking that not everyone made it out, the medical team was able to save most of that family with minimal injuries.
Starting off, we have to talk about her infamous tape with her then boyfriend Ray J. Now, the tape was leaked in 2007 and it thrusted Kim into the spotlight, but for all the wrong reasons. Now, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape, and in late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now, many people judged her for this, and in 2022 there were actually rumors that there was a second part of the tape that was going to get leaked. Now, it was said this leak was done by Ray J, but years later he's spoken out and claimed that the famous family story was a lie. He said, "I sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look, which is honestly just so gross. Now, since then, Kris has denied being a part of the leak, but it really wouldn't surprise me if she actually was. Then there was the time in 2024 where she offended a lot of people with what she wore to a wedding. In July, Kim and her sister Khloe attended the lavish wedding of billionaire heir Anant Ambani and his fiancée in India. The sisters looked stunning at the traditional wedding, but for one of the events, Kim wore red, which is considered by some to break the Hindu wedding etiquette. Now, the color red is generally reserved for the bride, and it's often frowned upon for guests to wear red. It's practically like if you wore white to someone else's wedding in the Western world. It's a big no-no. Now, after sharing photos of her outfit on Instagram, Kim faced backlash from her followers who thought it was an inappropriate outfit choice and called out her lack of respect. Now, Kim chose not to respond to the comments, but fans were disappointed that she didn't research the culture beforehand to know what was acceptable. Controversy also arose when it was announced that Kim would appear on Variety's Actors on Actors. Now, Kim starred in 1 season of American Horror Story, which some fans didn't even like to begin with. Now, there was outrage, but Kim still did the interview, and she was partnered with Chloe Sevigny, who, like Kim, had also worked with Ryan Murphy. Although Chloe allegedly wasn't initially supposed to be Kim's interview partner, the interview itself went well. But viewers online were offended that Kim was being called an actor, though. Kim Kardashian's work on 1 season of American Horror Story does not put her on par with anyone on this list. She's nowhere near their level of talent and many accomplishments, one person said. "Kim Kardashian, can we be serious please?" While another chimed in, "Kim Kardashian is not an actor." Now, a few fans even accused the star of paying her way onto the series. Real actors exist, why did Kim K pay to be there? Then there's everything with Taylor Swift. Now, she and Kim have a bad relationship because of Kanye West. Now, we all know that Taylor Swift and Kanye West have a history, and when Kanye released his song Famous, in which he calls out Taylor Swift by name, I feel like me and Taylor might still have sex. Why I made that be famous. Taylor Swift's reps shared a statement saying that Taylor was never made aware of the actual lyric "I made that be famous" in the song. Now later, Kim graced the cover of GQ and paired it with an in-depth interview where she discussed how Taylor had approved the lyric per a recorded phone conversation between the two singers. Kim then posted a video of Taylor and Kanye on the phone discussing the songs, which proved that Taylor was lying. Now the whole internet turned against Taylor, with Kim leading the hate train. But in 2020, the full phone call between Kanye and Taylor was leaked, proving Taylor was telling the truth and that Kim lied and edited the phone call conversation to make it look like Taylor was in the wrong. At the 2022 Met Gala, Kim Kardashian arrived in the iconic "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" Marilyn Monroe dress. She was granted special access to wear this as it is kept in a museum, but most of the general public didn't like this and thought that the dress should have been left alone. Besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. You see, the dress couldn't be altered to fit her, so she had to alter herself to fit into the dress. There was drama about how she lost her weight and whether it was healthy or not, but that got covered up though with another scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, she denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damage as a result. After Kim returned the dress, Scott Fortner shared photos of the dress taken that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric, along with missing crystals or ones left hanging by a thread, as it appears that Kim has damaged the dress, which is something that people were worried about, and it actually happened. Now, Kim had another scandal at the Met Gala too, where she wore a dress with a corset so tight her waist was pretty much invisible. I mean, it was so tight people were worried for the star, wondering how she could even breathe. People online were also angry though, because she was promoting yet again another unhealthy beauty standard. People were shocked by this and angered with the star. I'm not saying the media is to blame for young women's eating disorders, but Kim Kardashian crushing her organs to be thin on a red carpet sure doesn't effing help. Now, some celebrities also spoke out about this, like Jamila Jamil. She said, "The media has created a cycle of obsessing over Kim's body and teaching the public that this is the image to warrant attention and praise, and then they blame her for her impact on our beauty standards. She has no impact without attention. Who gives celebrities attention? The media and us," she said. Now, regardless, the look was crazy, and Kim shouldn't be hurting herself like that, just all in the name for fashion. Now, Kim hasn't had the best luck when it comes to love, because she once had a marriage that lasted for only 72 days. Yeah, she was married to Kris Humphries, and they made a lot of money with their photos and filming the whole experience on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, when Kim ended things though, Kris was blindsided by this, as he felt that they were truly in love, and he cited fraud as a reason for wanting an annulment. Now, following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles Fraud Court that Kim had no intentions of proceeding with this marriage, and if you look at the evidence, it seems to be true. Now, I honestly kind of feel bad for Kris and him going through all of that. Then there was the time Kim bought one of Princess Diana's necklaces at an auction. Kim snagged the diamond-encrusted amethyst Atala cross pendant famously worn by Princess Diana for $197,453 in 2023. Now, in November, Kim attended the 2024 LACMA Art Plus Film Gala, where she wore a dramatic white dress with a plunging neckline. Now, people called out Kim for wearing the necklace though, writing that it was weird that she would continue to wear pieces once owned by deceased celebrities, and they felt that she was trying to upstage Diana. Now, others called the move disrespectful. Some felt her wearing it with that dress was offensive to the religious symbol. Why are we still giving this woman precious heirlooms like Diana's necklace after she broke Marilyn's dress? Wrote one commenter on Instagram. And I mean, Kim has the money to do these things, but should she be allowed to do it? I don't think so. Now, Kim was also called out for doing blackface while promoting her beauty products. Now, afterwards, she told the New York Times, "I would obviously never want to offend anyone. I used an amazing photographer and a team of people. I was really tan when we shot the images, and it might be that the contrast was off. But I showed the image to many people, to many in the business. No one brought that to our attention, no one mentioned it." The Kardashians grew up on screen for all of us to see, and while there was drama on screen, apparently there was some behind the scenes as well. When the show first started in 2007, it said that the Kardashians, especially Kendall and Kylie, were very nice to the crew for the show. But as the years went on and they got more famous, they turned into monsters who had no respect for those who worked on the show. According to The Sun, the Kardashians repeatedly berated crew members and made unreasonable demands on anyone in their path. Additionally, the girls often try to direct what happens or demand multiple reshoots of simple moments on the show to place themselves in the best light they can at the expense of the rest of the family and crew, a source said. Now, this isn't a good look for them at all, and they should honestly be ashamed. Now, Kim Kardashian's marriage to Kris Humphries was something, let me tell you. Now, they dated for 6 months before they got married, and this might be due to all the money that they were making or were going to make. Kim was paid $1.5 million by People magazine for their wedding photos alone. They also got $300,000 for their engagement announcement, and then was given even more for both her bridal shower and honeymoon pictures. Not to mention, the pair got a bonus check from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. But things went downhill after that though, as just 72 days later, Kim filed for divorce from Kris. Yep, the marriage only lasted 72 days, which is honestly just embarrassing. Now, Kris was blindsided by this as he felt that they were truly in love, but he cited fraud as a reason for wanting an annulment. Now, Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences for hers. Now, following their split, Kris's lawyer told a Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intentions of proceeding with this marriage. Jonathan Jackson, who worked with Kim between 2007 and 2009, said the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said, "2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with E!, the network which had TV rights, otherwise they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money." Now, this is so unfortunate, especially for Kris, as he was practically used. And then there's everything that happened with Lamar Odom and Khloe. Throughout 2013, countless stories circulated about Lamar cheating on his wife Khloe. Later on, Lamar admitted to struggling with addiction and infidelity from early on in his marriage to Khloe. "There were too many strippers to count," he said in his memoir. Now, Khloe actually grew suspicious and hired a private investigator to track her husband. And while all this was going on, the couple put on a happy front on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and their own spin-off show, Khloe and Lamar. Now, in 2013, an insider claimed Khloe had not only photographic proof that Lamar cheated on her with at least 5 different women, but had copies of text messages between Lamar and the other women. She is a very smart woman and knew she had to get the proof because of the infidelity clause in their prenup, the source said. Though Khloe would later talk about Lamar's cheating on Keeping Up, she didn't do so until his cheating was widely publicized. And all of Lamar's issues were publicized by the Kardashians themselves. You see, not everyone in the family knew about the substance misuse and the cheating, but someone in the family was tired of it. It said that it wasn't until Rob Kardashian learned of Lamar's dark secrets that he helped push Lamar out. While it hasn't been validated, Lamar still claims to this day that it was the Kardashians who revealed his dark secrets to the press, which then drove a wedge between him and Khloe. Now, Lamar even said that Kris Jenner orchestrated an incident after their divorce to get more press surrounding their broken relationship. But of course, no one in this family would admit to all of that though. And then there's the fact that pretty much all the Kar-Jenners have gotten some sort of plastic surgery and have never admitted to it. In addition to that, some of them have even had their plastic surgery removed or reversed and lie and say they've been working out or have just been eating healthy. But I mean, we all know the truth. Now, a lot of people have pointed out that Kim has had liposuction and fat implants, but she has denied it. And then, after her daughter North was born, it was even more apparent that she got more work done, but once again, she denied it, but we seem to know the truth. There have been rumors since the beginning of time that Khloe Kardashian is not actually a Kardashian at all, and now we may have some proof. Numerous sources have reported that Kris Jenner told Robert Kardashian repeatedly that Khloe was not his daughter. According to RadarOnline.com, they also claim Kris paid her hairdresser, Alex Rowland, $30 million in a non-disclosure agreement to keep quiet about the situation, as some people claim that he's actually her father. Now, this makes sense because Kris Jenner is known for being a serial cheater, so it very well could be a possibility. Now, Kim Kardashian was investigated by the FBI after getting $250,000 in a trash bag. Yep, you heard that right. Now, according to a March 2023 Bloomberg Businessweek report, Kim was questioned by the feds as a part of an investigation and a mogul at the center of an embezzlement scandal. Now, in 2019, Kim told the FBI that she once played baccarat in a Las Vegas casino with Lowe and others when she ended up winning big. Now, Lowe allegedly told Kim to keep the chips she won, which were worth $350,000. Now, Kim told the FBI when she went to the casino counter to cash out, she was handed $250,000 in a trash bag full of 100 bills. Now, she put the trash bag full of cash in her carry-on bag and boarded a Southwest Airlines flight back to Los Angeles, the FBI agents wrote. Now, on a later trip to Vegas, Kim collected the remaining $100,000, again in a trash bag full of cash, which is honestly just weird. Now, Kim Kardashian has been accused of mistreating her workers by not paying them, which is messed up. In May 2021, Kim was sued by 7 workers accusing her of wage theft, retaliation, and more. The complaint alleged that cleaning and maintenance workers at her Santa Monica home weren't paid for all the hours they worked, didn't get overtime pay, weren't given required meal and rest breaks, and didn't get any pay stubs or documents related to employment. Kim has largely tried to deflect the blame by saying this was the fault of a company she hired to manage the workers. Now, the case, which was ongoing, has been pushed under the rug by the family, who never addressed the scandal themselves. And apparently, a lot of keeping up with the Kardashians was fake. Now, Kris Humphries spoke out about this after his short-lived marriage to Kim. He told a source, "Kris says that Kim's reality shows are a total sham. He doesn't think there's anything real about the shows at all." Now, the source also references one of the most quoted scenes of the show, in which Kim loses an earring after being thrown into the ocean by Kris during a family trip. Kim was crying hysterically, but then miraculously, one of the younger sisters found the earring in the ocean, where the group had been swimming. But they said that Kim didn't actually lose her earring, that the move was a publicity stunt to get views, the source said. Which, yeah, I do honestly believe this point. And finally, we have to address Kim's adult film that was released with her ex, Ray J. Now, in 2007, the tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. The talk of the tape was a prominent topic on the first season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it made Ray J a villain. But Ray J has since come out and said that he had nothing to do with the tape being released, and that it was all up to Kim and her mother, Kris. He said, "I sat in the shadow for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, making billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, Ray J claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look, which honestly is just gross. Now, Ray J also claimed that Kim has the videotapes in a box under her bed and that he's never been in possession of the tapes. Now, Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in the whole scandal, but Ray J says she's lying and that it was was all her plan.
Kris Jenner and Robert Kardashian, they essentially had the perfect life. Kris and Robert had 4 children together, they lived in a beautiful home in Beverly Hills, and Robert had a great job as a wealthy entrepreneur and lawyer. But Kris admitted that she felt that something was missing when she was introduced to professional soccer player Todd Waterman, who was 10 years younger than her. She became involved in an affair. Kris said, "When you're very young, you do a lot of stupid things. It's probably the biggest regret of my life that I ended up having an affair. I was probably just really naive and stupid and restless and didn't realize that marriage has its ups and downs. Sometimes people think the grass is always greener, and that was like what I think I went through at some point." The bombshell revelation first came out in her memoir called Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian. Khloe later revealed that the affair destroyed her dad and it had a terrible effect on the family. For Khloe Kardashian and Lamar Odom, it was pretty much love at first sight. The pair tied the knot in September of 2009 after just a month of dating. But Khloe's only marriage unfortunately ended in disaster. Relatively soon into the marriage, it was revealed that not only did Lamar have a serious substance misuse problem, but he also admitted to being with countless other women during the relationship. The couple divorced shortly after he was found unconscious in a brothel. According to Lamar, dating a Kardashian is hard, so hard that it made him cheat on his ex-wife multiple times during their marriage. He said, "When I became Khloe Kardashian's man on TV, it made me look more enticing." As a result, he claimed, thoughts came out of the woodwork. "If there is one thing I regret when I was married, it was having multiple affairs with different women. That wasn't the stand-up thing to do. I wish I could have kept my D in my pants." Next up, Kourtney Kardashian and Scott Disick. In 2015, Scott was spotted getting handsy with stylist Chloe Bartoli while in Monte Carlo. It wasn't long after that Kourtney announced she was splitting from the father of her 3 kids. Following the affair, Scott came clean to the family, saying, "I've apologized to Kourtney 100 times, but I've never apologized to all of you for letting all of you down and embarrassing you guys." So it was obvious that he had trouble remaining committed to Kourtney. The two broke up briefly after this incident and then got back together, but continued to have a rocky relationship. First, her sister, Kim, caught a girl hiding in Scott's bathroom in Dubai, and finally, the eldest Kardashian invited Scott on a family vacation to Costa Rica. He ended up sneaking a girl into his hotel room while he was trying to reunite with his ex. This final incident is what prompted Kardashian to tell Scott they were never ever getting back together. The reality star came under fire for promoting Flat Tummy Co.'s appetite suppressant lollipops to her millions of Instagram followers. She posted a picture of herself with the diet ad candy and wrote, "They're literally unreal." While Kim has posted sponsored ads for weight loss products before, things like meals replacement shakes, the whole appetite suppressant thing falls into a different, far more contentious category. The lollipops contain an extract from natural plants that is said to control cravings, food intake, and weight. But while the active ingredient is technically safe, many nutrition experts agree that appetite suppressants are a short-term, ultimately ineffective diet strategy that can promote harmful eating habits and aggravate already existing disorders. The fact that the company's product comes in lollipop form seems geared towards a younger consumer, which just makes it all the more troubling. Manhattan-based nutritionist Maria Marlowe criticized the move and said Kim is an incredible marketeer and brander, and many young women look up to her. But this is sending the wrong messages that being hungry is bad, that our bodies need to be controlled, and that the route to our ideal body comes in candy form. Not only that, but relying on a suppressant is a distraction from focusing on a healthy diet and exercise. It's not a great option in the long term. Although Kim is used to making questionable fashion choices, many felt that she sank to a new low when she decided to wear the famous Marilyn dress. This historical item was actually worn by Marilyn Monroe herself while she was singing Happy Birthday to President Kennedy in 1962. It was lent out to her by Ripley's Museum. Scott Fortner, a collector, shared photos of the dress in a blog post after Kim had returned it, which appeared to show stretched fabric and missing crystals on the back. Not only that, but while being interviewed on the red carpet, she said that when she first tried the dress on, it didn't fit her. So to ensure that the delicate fabric wouldn't tear, she dropped 16 pounds ahead of the event in order to squeeze into it. She then changed into a replica dress once she got to the entrance of the party because she couldn't walk up the museum steps of the Met Gala without ripping the original. But the fact she was even allowed to wear it was enough to anger fans everywhere. It was bought by Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in a 2016 auction for $4.8 million and is usually kept in a darkened, temperature-controlled vault at 40 to 50% humidity to preserve the delicate fabric. So of course, people were fuming that Kim permanently damaged the dress, especially because when you consider the design of it, the fabric is literally irreparable. Kim's union with NBA player Kris Humphries has gone down in history as one of the shortest in Hollywood. This has led to some fans to question whether it was made for TV, specifically after the two-part E! special called Kim's Fairy Tale Wedding. The Los Angeles Times even reported that Kim had only married him to increase ratings on the show. But in 2017, the reality star admitted to Andy Cohen that she knew the marriage was doomed from the beginning. It turns out that she only rushed into it because of the pressure of turning 30. There were also signs that their marriage was going to end quickly. A few days before Kim divorced Kris on day 68, the couple were spotted arguing in their car while they were out on a dinner date in Hollywood. They were photographed heading back to Kim's car, and you could visibly see the tension in the air. Kris looked fed up, and Kim was giving him the death stare while yelling and waving her hand. This very public fight was indicative that the relationship was on the rocks. In the divorce, Kris asked for $7 million of a settlement. Otherwise, he threatened to make Kim go through an ugly public trial. But he ended up walking away with literally nothing. In 2018, photos of Tristan having an affair surfaced online while he was dating Khloe. To make matters worse, she was 9 months pregnant at the time. Not long after, TMZ came out with video footage dating back to October of 2017 that showed the NBA player kissing two other random women at a club. Despite the fact that there was now hard evidence of Tristan cheating on Khloe, without really attempting to hide it, they decided to stay together for the birth of their child. But things did not stay smooth forever. In 2019, reports surfaced that Tristan had cheated on Khloe once again, this time with none other than Jordyn Woods, who was a close friend of the family, seeing that she was Kylie Jenner's best friend and roommate. Anonymous party attendees told TMZ that the pair were all over each other and made out several times throughout the night. The explosive incident almost broke up the family entirely, and as a result, multiple relationships were ruined. Last September, Kris Jenner went on The Late Late Show with James Corden, where she was strapped to a lie detector and interviewed about the infamous tape that was released in 2007 of Kim Kardashian and Ray J. Kris denied the year-long speculation that she was involved in its production. Once the results came back, it seemed as though she was telling the truth. Of course, Kim kept up with this narrative too, but neither of them had expected Ray J to respond to the interview. He appeared on Instagram Live with a full presentation to prove that she was lying. He showed screenshots of text messages that Kanye West had sent him asking for the original tapes because he wanted to give them back to Kim. In response, Ray J said, "I got 2 kids and a tech company. Why would I involve myself in this? I'm so past this, bro. I'm assuming you know the full story from 05, right? How it happened, who brokered the deal, who put it all together, etc." This is when Ray J made the most shocking revelation ever. He said, "Kris Jenner is the one who made us shoot the second tape in Santa Barbara." He then claimed that Kris orchestrated the filming of the last tape and even watched them to decide which was best. Kim K came under fire when she bought the iconic cross necklace that was worn by Princess Diana for $197,000. 4 people competed in a bidding war, but Kim ended up winning the auction after 5 minutes. The amethyst cross is a 1920s pendant by a luxury jewelry designer, which Diana wore on many occasions. The cross-shaped pendant features large amethyst stones framed by a 5.2 carat diamond. After news of the purchase came out, Kim started trending on Twitter as everyone was jumping to create their own Kim Kardashian has purchased meme as a way to make fun of the historical artifacts she had bought. They have quoted Kim as saying, "I just did what needed to be done." Kim and Scott Disick are being sued for $40 million after they were accused of hatching a contest scam and fooling innocent people. The lawsuit alleges that the two created a fake lottery in 2020 and announced that the winner will get $100,000 and 2 first-class tickets to LA, as well as a 3-night stay in Beverly Hills, and they could shop like Kim. But turned out this was all fake. The filing claims it says that Kim and Scott worked with an Australian company, Curated, to sell the personal information of the players to advertisers. Apparently, the winners of the contest were announced, but their Instagram handles were quickly made private, which raised a few red flags. The people that did enter the contest and lost were then invaded by hundreds of advertisers, soliciting them with potentially offensive and unwanted content. However, the Australian company has said that the contest is legitimate and there is legal paperwork to back it. Both Kim and Scott have yet to comment on the lawsuit.
There's one image in the news where like everybody's holding a fun bottle of something, and a lot of folks look like they're having a good time, and people want to know just how good of a time was it. Was Leonardo DiCaprio having a good time? Was Mariah Carey having a good time? They were both wearing white. Another image that stands out, Puff Daddy screaming at a party, and who does he have in his arms? Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. Now sure, this was during the era where Kim was Paris's second in command, her assistant if you will, but we gotta get back to the Kardashians because they know more than they're telling. So there's one video showing Khloe Kardashian bragging about partying with Puff Daddy. This isn't an old episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know, it's like 10 years old, but it's relevant, okay? So Khloe and Kourtney are hanging out. They're discussing this wild party with a lot of friends. Bieber was there, French Montana was there, and Puff Daddy. So later on in the episode, everybody's out bowling and Girly Pop is like, well, I haven't been to bed yet. I got a plane at like 5:30 a.m. And like she said the quote that we all know about what people were or weren't wearing at the party. And it's like, hey girl, want to elaborate why you got on a plane at 5:30 a.m.? Because we all know when the bad part of the party happened and it was after 5 a.m. She said, well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff. And we've been known to party with you a few times. And then Kourtney was like, oh yeah, like you were just at Puffy's party. And she's like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too. Like that was fun because all the girls ditched me. So it was like me and the boys. It was me, Kanye, and we were just like hanging out and it was fun. I loved it. And then once again, Khloe turns to Puffy and is like, I don't know how you have all the energy, but that's who you are. And that's why people are so drawn to you because you're so eclectic. No matter what, no matter how much you work, you don't sleep, you don't do anything, but that's just you. And if you thought that's where the friendship ends, flash forward, I think 3 years later, 2019, Khloe is posting pictures of her family and Puff Daddy. December 16th, 2019. Everybody's hanging out. It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like happy 50th birthday. So here's the thing. Normally when Khloe posts photos of her family on Insta, the comment section is usually flooded with well wishes. But fast forward to this year, September 24th, 2024, now that everything's coming to light, yeah, there's some suspicion and anger in the comments. Folks want to know, like, hey, Kardashian family, you've been hanging out with Puff Daddy for years at this point. We just went through the timeline. And like, what's going on? So even though this was a completely unrelated post, like Khloe's dropping off her family at school, and yes, there are a couple of nice little things, like there's a pop singer who was like, oh my gosh, best mama. Everybody else wants to know other stuff. They said, and I quote, so are we just glossing over the fact that she and the other Kardashians knew what went on at Puffy parties? The circus is trying to deflect from them parties they went to, and that one was in all caps, but like, I'm not yelling at you, you don't need that. So let's go through the family tree. Apparently Kim has unfollowed Puffy on Insta, but has not spoken publicly over the speculation. But going back to Khloe, once again, she's always said nothing like a Puffy party and she hasn't said anything else. Now sure, nobody in the family has been linked to any of the allegations that Puffy is facing, but they have not spoken out following his arrest. They've been fawning over him for how many years now publicly? And like if we're going up to, let's see, the matriarch of the family, Kris Jenner, her partner Corey Gamble had ties to the rapper as well. So there's a theory. A theory is the family is dreading the prospect of testifying at the upcoming trial. Now this is according to some insiders who claim that the family is in panic mode because all these years they've been bragging about partying with Puffy, and of course everybody's wondering, were you involved in the freak-offs? And if you don't know what the freak-offs are, how could I word this without getting in trouble with the internet? Carefully organized events that involved very naughty activities, not always consensually, with a lot of people. Please get my hint. So according to sources, the Kardashians are all insisting they weren't involved in the twisted, awful things that went up after hours at these parties. Even though we know Khloe was at these parties until 5:30 a.m., which is when the twisted things would have been happening. Now, of course, we do have to mention Puffy had plenty of glamorous parties over the years that weren't these crazy things. But, and this is a quote here, at least not until the early morning hours. Well, I don't know, folks. Didn't I just say that Khloe Kardashian was at these parties until the early morning hours? So if you're wondering how Corey ties into all of it, he made a post in 2020 saying like, oh, I will always thank Puffy and Puffy's partner for all they did in my life. So a lot of folks think Corey must have had some knowledge of what was going on, which he totally denies. So obviously, going back to Kris, Momager Supreme PR expert, she's a little embarrassed. She's scrambling to distance the entire family from this and distract everybody. But obviously, it's kind of impossible. So let's talk more about these parties for a moment, folks. Let's go back, way back. 1999, where Puffy was talking about his white parties, and it's very interesting what he said about them. At the time, 1999, folks, they don't want me to party anymore, but we're not going to stop. We will continue to have fun, to unite people from all walks of life. And he said, you will hear about my parties. Folks, this is almost 30 years ago. They're going to shut them down. Maybe they're going to arrest me. They're going to do all kinds of crazy things just because we want to have a good time. Whenever you bring a different element into people's environments, things that broaden people's horizons, people get intimidated. It's a lot of people out there that feel intimidated by it. Okay, well, I don't know, sir. We have different ideas on this. He also joked about his tactics for keeping women from ditching his get-togethers, and he did this on television, folks. This was on Late Night with Conan O'Brien in 2002. So Conan was like, hey, how do you throw a great party? Because by then, Puffy was already known for his parties. He said woman. Beautiful woman, of course. Beautiful men for the ladies, of course. You need some water. I don't know if guys have noticed this, but a lot of ladies drink water at the parties, so if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. And then he said something very interesting. Gotta keep them there. Need locks on the doors. Now, Conan O'Brien was like, that sounds kind of dangerous. Puffy tried to play it off. He's like, no, it's all in fun. Well, he didn't say that word. He said a word that starts with a K that I can't say. But like, nope, that does not sound like a great human rights situation. So sure, as all this continues to hit the light and it's all technically allegation and whodunits and maybes and allegedlys, it's probably gonna be a while before we get anything concrete, because if you went to a Puffy party or hung out with him, you had to sign an NDA. So apparently it's a pretty standard one, like you can't share information related to the disgraced music mogul himself, partners, family members, friends, business associates. You also couldn't photograph, film, or record anything without written consent. And even though that is pretty boilerplate, obviously we all wish we had footage right about now. You also, if you took anything, you can't share anything on social media without any explicit consent from the bad boy founder. Also, you can't give an interview, you can't write a book, you can't discuss anything. So obviously that's probably why we're not hearing about anything, but like, we would still like to know. The non-disclosure seems to cover anything that could get the rapper into trouble, and it does expire at one point. It's valid for, let's see, Puffy's life plus 20 years or 70 years, whichever is longer. Yes, it's boilerplate, but still, come on folks. You can break it, it'll make everybody's lives easier.
Kim Kardashian is feuding with one of her sisters again. She's been called out by Khloe with her shady Instagram posts, as the pair have been fighting on the new episode of The Kardashians. Now, in the most recent episode of The Kardashians, the sisters clashed over Khloe's parenting, with Kim suggesting that Khloe's 2 kids rule her life. Now, this came about after Khloe turned down a trip to Paris for Fashion Week because she wanted to be home with her kids. Now, last week's episode also documented their family vacation to Aspen, which took place in January. On the trip, Kim called out Khloe for FaceTiming her daughter during their group dinner. Now, Kim again was annoyed with this. Kim said in a confessional, "Here we go again. She just is so stuck on what's going on at home that she can't have a good time," before later describing Khloe constantly FaceTiming her kids as annoying. Several viewers of the reality show have since called Kim out for shaming Khloe, and fans have actually done the math and figured out that Khloe was seemingly shading Kim on Instagram around the very same time that they were quietly clashing. Now, back in January and February, around the same time as the Aspen trip, Khloe shared multiple quotes that are seemingly aimed at Kim. 20 years from now, the only people who'll remember if you worked late are your kids, one quote read. Raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power, read another. Then in 2007, Kim and her then boyfriend, Ray J, tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. Now, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape. In late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now, the blame was put on Ray J for releasing the video, but after all these years, Ray J maintains his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now, he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now, Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim tapes and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now, if that's true, that is just gross. Now, Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in getting her daughter tape released and even took a lie detector test on the James Corden show, but Ray J is still adamant that they did help. Now, looking back, Ray J said he is embarrassed of the tape. Now, Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married. Now, Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Now, their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by people for their wedding photos alone. They also got $30,000 for their engagement announcement and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and her honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. Now, afterwards though, after 72 days, Kim filed for divorce. Now, Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as the reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now, following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles Fraud Court that Kim had no intention of proceeding with this marriage. It was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. But Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with the E! Network, which had TV rights. Otherwise, they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. Now, after their divorce and sketchy relationship, Kris exposed some of Kim's secrets. Back in 2013, Kris revealed that the proposal for the show was not a surprise and that Kim was aware of it, so the scene where she seemed moved and surprised in is super fake. In fact, Kris went further to say that they had to reshoot the proposal because Kim didn't like her reaction. Kim told Kris how, where, and when to propose. It was absolutely no surprise to her whatsoever, a source told Radar Online. First of all, Kris proposed in the middle of the day, and he had to do that because it would create better lighting to capture the moment. Now, Kim looked surprised but knew it was happening. She was in full hair and makeup, and she's always in on the show. But all of his ideas were shot down by production officials and Kim. Now, another person she got married to was Kanye West. They got married and had 4 children together, and they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month, he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. Now, he also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. In January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. The divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, and after they divorced, Kim dated Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she couldn't remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, and after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's posts, begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that she and her family have had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, at the 2022 Met Gala, Kim arrived in the iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, Kim said the idea of wearing the late actress's dress felt like the perfect representation of America. She was granted special access to wear it as it is kept in a museum, and people did not like this. They thought it was unfair and in poor taste to take the dress of an icon and have Kim wear it. Now, besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. She said, "It was such a challenge, it was like a role, I was determined to fit in it. I'd wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale can do it for a movie role and that is acceptable. It's all the same to me. I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." Now, her losing all that weight in a short period of time though really rubbed people the wrong way. And finally, we have Kim's short-lived feud with Chloe Grace Moretz. In July 2016, when Kim had her own celebrity feud going on with Taylor Swift, she posted her supposed proof on Snapchat of Taylor lying, and fans went crazy. This annoyed Chloe Grace Moretz though, who tweeted, "Everyone in the industry needs to get their heads out of a hole and look around and realize what's actually happening in the real world. Stop wasting your voice on something so petulant and unimportant." Minutes later, jumping to her big sister's defense, Khloe Kardashian responded with a collage of pictures. Now, the first picture was of Chloe Grace at the beach, and the next photo was a photo of an unknown blonde-haired woman, who she presumably thought was Chloe, in the sea suffering an embarrassing and revealing bikini mishap. Now, Khloe Kardashian captioned the image, "Is this the hole you're referring to?" at Chloe G. Moretz, and Chloe straight away tweeted back, "Fact check, first photo is me filming my movie Neighbors 2, the second photo is some girl who was wrongly photographed." But this feud didn't end there though. In 2016, Kim turned heads for sharing a full frontal nude selfie with only black bars to protect her modesty on Twitter. She captioned the photo with, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, lol." Then, out of nowhere, Khloe responded to the picture by commenting, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Now, Kim didn't take this lying down and replied back, "Let's all welcome at Chloe G. Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo." Now, starting off, we have Dancing with the Stars. Yes, Kim was once a contestant on Dancing with the Stars, and it did not go well. In 2008, she appeared on the show and paired up with professional dancer Mark Ballas. They were eliminated during week 3, but not before Kim had tried her hand at twerking. Yep, you heard that right. Now, she later joked about her awful dancing skills during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Now, in 2015, Mark opened up about the partnership in an interview with the Orlando Centennial. "She wasn't the best dancing partner. I love her. She's awesome. We became good friends," he said. "Dancing was not her thing, but she's a great girl." Next up is her get up and work comments. In March 2022, Kourtney, Kim, and Khloe Kardashian, alongside their mother Kris Jenner, did an interview for Variety. Now, during the interview, Kim was asked to offer women in business advice, and she responded with, "Get your effing ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days." Now, her sister Kourtney chimed in as well, saying, "That's so true." Now, this outraged fans, noting that both sisters were born wealthy and were given a head start in life. Now, Kim would soon regret saying this as for the backlash and for the memes. Variety then posted the clip to TikTok, gaining over 3.3 million views in 6 days. Now, it was probably one of the most out-of-touch comments Kim's ever made, and it's just gross because her family agreed with her. Now we have the Marilyn Monroe dress. Kim wanted to stand out at the 2022 Met Gala, and what better way to do that than wear an iconic dress that was worn by Marilyn Monroe. Now, although it was a moment in history, it caused a lot of problems. When Kim arrived on the carpet, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. Now, following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. All of this, though, got covered up with another scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, she denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damages as a result, and frustrations have been renewed. Scott Fortner, a collector who works to authenticate and verify Monroe memorabilia, shared photos of the dress taken that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric, along with missing crystals or ones left hanging by a thread. Then there's how the crew was treated. Now, reports have surfaced that the Kardashians were very kind to the camera crew when Keeping Up with the Kardashians first started in 2007. However, as the show progressed and the family gained more fame, their kindness and respect for the crews they worked with dwindled, causing unpleasant and unfriendly moments behind the scenes. Now, according to The Sun, the Kardashians repeatedly berated crew members and made unreasonable demands on anyone in their path. Additionally, the girls often try to direct what happens or demand multiple reshoots of simple moments on the show to place themselves in the best light they can at the expense of the rest of the family and crew. Not to mention, the Kardashian housekeepers claim the girls never cleaned up after themselves, yet expected their rooms and closets to always be camera ready. Now, while there's no doubt that the Kardashian women are busy with their show, some have argued that they don't have the right to be so demanding of the housekeepers who help tend their homes. Now, this even led to a lawsuit in 2021, as reported by NBC News, with 7 workers claiming that Kim failed to pay overtime, cover expenses, and provide legally mandated breaks, while expecting them to always be on call to pick up after her. Moving on to getting booed. Kim Kardashian appeared at Tom Brady's roast. Now, the roast, which aired live on Netflix, is now missing some notable footage from when Kim first took the spotlight. Live viewers couldn't miss the crowd's boos after host Kevin Hart introduced her, but in the version currently available on Netflix, Kim is greeted exclusively by applause. Now, as Kim makes her way to the stage, the audience's only audible reaction is applause, as it was in the original broadcast. "Thank you so much, Kevin," she says in this edited version, as she then makes a joke about his height. But that's not what happened in real life. In the live broadcast, when Kim made an earlier attempt to deliver that first joke, it was interrupted by significant booing from the crowd following the initial applause. Now, after saying, "I know a lot of people make fun of your height," she looked away from the teleprompter with irritation. All right, she said. Now, on Netflix, the roast includes a message that says, edited from a previous live stream, but people who saw the stream live know what happened and were already talking about it online, as it wasn't a secret. Now we have her music career. Back in 2010, Kim decided to try out a career in the music industry. In 2011, she dropped her debut music video, Jam Turn It Up, but the music career of Kim was very short-lived, and it was the first and last song that she sang. Now, Kim had worked on the track with some very talented people and had revealed that a portion of the proceeds from the song's sale would be donated to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. However, the song did not turn out to be very successful. The New York Daily News had called Kim the worst singer in the reality TV universe. Kim never sang again, except for her mom Kris Jenner's birthday celebration music video in the year 2015. Now, according to Rolling Stone, Kim had revealed on an episode of Watch What Happens Live that she regrets singing the track. The reality TV star revealed on the show that making Jam Turn It Up was a memorable experience and allowed her to raise money for cancer, but that she considered the track to be her biggest mistake. Now, she further said that she does not like it when people do things they are not good at, and for herself, she thinks that she does not have a good voice to be a singer, therefore she should not have sung the track. I mean, it appears that it was for a good cause, but still, Kim did horrible, but at least she can acknowledge that. Now let's talk about her acting debut. Yes, you might not know it, but before Kim starred in American Horror Story, she had a role in the 2008 comedy Disaster Movie. Kim starred alongside Carmen Electra and Vanessa Milano before she was slammed by a meteorite. Now, as expected, the movie only got a 1% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, during an appearance on the ABC reality show Big Fan almost a decade after the film premiered, Kim revealed that she's not particularly proud of this one. "I'm mortified if you have the clip," she admitted. "I can't watch." And yeah, I can't blame her here. It was a rough watch for sure. She had no business being in that movie at all. Then there's She Stole Kimoji. David Libenson was a software developer who worked with Kim on her Kimoji. Now, David and 2 colleagues invented the Kardashian-themed emoji range, which resulted in thousands of downloads a second, and the app supposedly generating $1 million a minute. But they didn't see a cent after their deal fell apart, as Kim and her no-nonsense lawyer, Marty Singer, gave them little option but to walk away from developing Kimoji, losing out on a fortune. Now, David sued Kim for $300 million in 2019, claiming she stole his idea and ran away with the trademark. David and his colleagues had initially agreed on a deal with Kardashian's team for a profit share on Kimoji and an anti-cyberbullying app that they created called Censorgram, which Kim was eager to be the face of before the deal went south. Now, David says he was forced to withdraw his $300 million lawsuit as his legal fees spiraled out of control along with the rest of his life. Now, David said he's got nothing left to lose and has created a website called www.kimkardashianruinedmylife.com gift.com to spread his message and raise money. Next up is Kim getting kicked off stage by Prince. On Prince's Welcome to Tour, which saw the legendary artist perform over 80 shows from 2010 to 2012, traveled across North America, and cemented his legacy with a series of critically acclaimed shows. Now, on the final night of his Madison Square Garden residency, Prince hunted for someone in the star-studded front rows to join him on stage. He then spotted Kim and asked her to join him and immediately began dancing around her. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kim hates dancing, so why she agreed to go up on stage, I don't know. She laughed nervously while standing in place and clapping for him before Prince instructed her to get off my stage. Now, Kim later discussed the incident during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I was just so nervous and I was just like laughing. To my defense, like, didn't Prince watch Dancing with the Stars? Like, I'm not a good dancer. Now, following this moment, Prince and Kim would never meet again. He never forgot her performance on stage with him, as he refused to take part in an episode of New Girl alongside members of her family, according to Zooey Deschanel. Yikes. And lastly, we have Kim's lost earring. One of the most iconic scenes in Keeping Up with the Kardashians history is when the family was vacationing in Bora Bora in 2011. Kim was with Chris Humphries at the time, and he threw her into the ocean while she was wearing her clothes. Kim then noticed that her $75,000 earrings she was wearing were no longer in her ears. She then began crying and turns hysterical. When her sister Kourtney finds out what happens, she iconically exclaims, "There's people that are dying, Kim." Now, Kylie later found the earrings shortly after Kim lost them, but Kim's bratty reaction would last forever in a meme form. Now, Kim explained years later to People magazine why the earrings caused such a reaction. 4 years for my birthday, I buy myself a birthday present and I had upgraded that pair of diamond studs. Worked really hard, I had just gotten them and I didn't insure them. And imagine if you don't insure something and it's gone. I just threw that money away. Then she defended her reaction during E's 10th anniversary special in 2017, telling viewers that while she could see Kourtney's point now, people just don't realize how much those jewels meant to her. Now, it's said that Kourtney's relationship with Travis has led to a breakdown between her friends and even her family. I mean, we all saw how it played out with her sister Kim around the time of her wedding. Now, fans theorize that the two sisters, whose feud has been documented in the past few seasons of Hulu's The Kardashians, are fighting with each other over the Blink-182 drummer, who admitted to having a crush on Kim before dating and marrying Kourtney in his 2016 memoir, Can I Say? Now, in his memoir, Travis wrote that he kept on secretly checking out Kim while he was dating Paris Hilton in 2006. Per the LA Times, he wrote, "I don't care if she's the closet girl, she's effing hot." Now, in a new interview with the Los Angeles Times, Travis once again denied ever having a physical relationship with Kim, a claim his ex-wife Shanna Mulliker disputes. "It's like Kourtney's fans are worried about Travis, he's a womanizer, stop it," he said. "I obviously shared all that stuff because I wanted to move past it. It was therapeutic for me." Now, he insisted that Kourtney's beef with Kim has nothing to do with his past flirtations. That's her sister, she knows we used to talk, nothing bad was going on. You give people a little information and they think they solve the mystery of this is why they're fighting. It's just so ridiculous. Now, during a 2021 Q&A session on her Instagram story, Kim denied rumors that she hooked up with Travis. "No, false narrative," she wrote at the time. "We've been friends for years and I'm so happy for him in court." So they both deny it, but who knows? Now, Kourtney and Kim's feud has been a central plot point in The Kardashians, with the sisters' heated rivalry intensifying as Kim directed Dolce & Gabbana's Milan Fashion Week show 4 months after Kourtney and Travis tied the knot in a wedding themed after the brand in Italy. Now, there were lots of similarities, so it appears that this ignited another feud. In a season 3 episode of The Kardashians, a teary-eyed Kourtney opened up to Kendall Jenner about feeling hurt by the collab in June 2023. She sees everything that I had there and takes it for her own and doesn't even see it. She sees it for the dollar signs, Kourtney said. Now, later in the episode, Khloe informed Kim of Kourtney's reaction and was shocked. In a confessional, Kim said she couldn't have handled the situation in a more mindful way. "I said don't do the Madonna collection, don't do the lace collection, don't do anything that Kourtney wore to her wedding," Kim said, referring to her discussions about the show with the Dolce team. "She doesn't know that I have an email string begging them to push it a year." Now, Kim Kim wasn't going to stand with what she thought was disrespect and decided to fight fire with fire and point out that Kourtney's Italian wedding had similar aspects to her own nuptials in 2014. During a confessional later in the season, Kim drew comparisons between her 2014 wedding to Kanye West. "I got married in Italy. Am I saying you copied me by getting married in Italy? Who performed at my wedding? Who performed at Kourtney's wedding? Andrea Bocelli," she said. "You stole my effing wedding country and my wedding performer. Andrea Bocelli is my favorite male singer of all time, but I am copying her Dolce Vita lifestyle." Now, digging the dagger deeper into her sister, Kim also said Kourtney doesn't have any friends besides her husband Travis. Now, Kim's dig came after Khloe said Kourtney told her all of her friends disapproved of Kim's decision to work with Dolce & Gabbana after her wedding. "She's saying every one of her friends, but she doesn't have any friends," Kim said during the conversation. So, Travis. Then in one scene, Kim told Kourtney, "You hate me. Why do you hate me so much and why are you so angry with me? You have a serious vendetta." Now, she said this during the Kardashians' wedding special, Till Death Do Us Part, Kourtney and Travis. "You hate us, you're a different person, we all talk about it." Now, Kourtney clapped back with saying, "Because I don't need you guys anymore, I don't need to be a part of it." Now, it seems like since getting married, Kourtney has wanted to stay away from the spotlight. Now, Kourtney has also brought this up before, and it has also caused fights, as Kim claimed that she didn't care about the family as a whole or their careers. Now, this resulted in a full-on fist fight with Kim and Kourtney, and it was all documented for the show. It seems like Kourtney now wants privacy with the Barker family, and doesn't want much to do with her blood family. I mean, she's a new mom again now, and it can be a lot, so I completely understand that. She wants to live a life of privacy and doesn't want to be on the reality show anymore, which again has caused rifts between her and Kim. Now, Travis and Kourtney started dating in 2021 and quickly bombarded fans with their very public relationship before tying the knot the following year. The pair documented their journey on the Kardashians with their attempts to have a child. Now, it worked and they welcomed their son Rocky in November 2023, 8 years after Kourtney called it quits for good with Scott Disick, with whom she has 3 children with. Now, Kourtney had a complicated relationship with Scott as they got together in 2006 and broke up multiple times. Now, Scott was known for cheating on Kourtney and he really struggled with his sobriety. Now, they officially called it quits in 2015, but Scott was still around the family. Scott continued to be featured on the show as they navigated co-parenting, and the father of 3 remained close to Kourtney's family. But when the show rebranded to The Kardashians and jumped ship to Hulu in 2022, Kourtney's relationship with Travis was in full force, and Scott revealed that he was no longer as close to his ex, admitting it had been a huge adjustment losing her as a best friend. Now, both Travis and Scott appeared on season 1, with Kourtney left furious that her ex's feelings surrounding her engagement was a big storyline. Now, Scott only made a cameo in season 2, and fans were mad. They wanted Scott back on the show, so it said he made a $2 million deal with Kris Jenner, and he returned for season 3 in May 2023. Now, the momager made it clear on Instagram that Scott was going nowhere. "Scott will never be excommunicated from our family," she wrote. "He's the father of my grandchildren and a special part of our family. We love him, and this is not true." Now, he was welcomed back with open arms by the entire family in season 3 and was no longer playing the part of the evil ex, but instead taking on the role of his true self, a devoted father who was an integral part of the Kardashian dynasty. But now that Kourtney is with Travis, it's made things difficult for Scott. Now, obviously, Kourtney's sisters want Scott around and will always call him a part of the family, but Kourtney seems to have different feelings. It appears that she doesn't want Scott around and that he makes her uncomfortable. A source has revealed that Scott's ongoing relationship with Kourtney's family irked Travis, who was left feeling threatened. Travis made it awkward for Scott to be around the family when he was there. His constant kissing and of Kourtney was his weapon, and he knew that it would keep Scott out of the picture, and it did at the time. Travis needed Scott to know that Kourtney was his now, and as a result, it caused Scott to distance himself from the Kardashians. But with Scott back now, the insider said Travis's game plan to get Scott out of the picture backfired. He knows that the Kardashian family's loyalty lies with Scott. Now, Kourtney and Scott's kids are also very loyal to their father and will always side with Scott when it comes to Travis's issues with their dad. Fans Fans have theorized that Kourtney evidently trying to move on in her life in a different direction than her family's is something that they're simply unable to grasp. They're so used to exploiting their business for fame, they can't even fathom one of their own trying to give that up, and instead insist on gaslighting them into thinking they're selfish, one person online wrote. Sources say that Kourtney started discarding everyone in her life when Travis came into the picture, and since then it has gotten progressively worse to the point she doesn't seem to care about associating with anyone from her old life. Kourtney barely talks to Kim and Khloe anymore, aside from when they're filming the show. She has pushed them away and deals with them as if they are her co-workers. Things are very fake and forced when filming the show. Now luckily for Kourtney, she has her own family with Travis, and focusing on them while keeping her distance from the Kardashians seems to bring her the most peace. In fact, in one episode, Kourtney told Kim that she was at her happiest when far away from the Kardashians. "I have a happy life, and that happiness comes when I get the F away from you guys," she said. Now in another, she said she's felt more empowered to put distance between herself and the Kardashians since marrying Travis and cementing their own family unit. But it's also been said that Kourtney has also allegedly cut out her lifelong friends, including Melissa Kolker, Ali Rizzo, Stephanie Shepard, Brittany Gastineau, Kourtney Semmel, and Poosh employee Sarah Howard. Kourtney and those girls were like sisters their whole life, another insider noted. Now she barely responds to texts or calls. She posts photos with them all the time on her social media. The source went on to say many of them are still close with Scott too, who they all care deeply for. Scott has always been great to her friends. Now they added, but none of Kourtney's old friends are really friends with Travis and have had hardly any contact with Kourtney since she got together with him. Yikes. Now hopefully they'll be able to make up in the future and move on with their lives, but it seems like there's been nothing but drama since Kourtney got together with Travis.
First up, Kanye West. Kim and Kanye were one of the most hated couples during the almost 7 years that they were together. They took their relationship public in the spring of 2012, and after that it was just mayhem. Kanye, who had been pursuing her for some time, name-dropped his future partner in his 2012 single, Cold, saying, "And I'll admit, I had fell in love with Kim around the same time she had fell in love with him." By June of 2012, Kim was calling herself a proud girlfriend, and by the end of the year, she was pregnant with the couple's first child, Northwest, who was born in June of 2013. Kanye proposed to Kim in October of 2013, and the couple wed in Florence, Italy soon after. While they were together, Kim and Kanye had more than their fair share of cringy couple moments. Everyone remembers the music video for Bound 2 because it left a lot of people feeling uncomfortable. So during that video, Kanye rides a motorcycle through the desert, and he's joined by Kim, who's completely in the nude. In every single shot, like every single one, they're either kissing or caressing each other, which is nearly impossible to watch without cringing. And while their relationship was messy, the divorce was even messier. When Kim moved on with Pete Davidson, Kanye was extremely threatened. So one of the things that Kanye did to mess with Pete was he posted a photo of a fake New York Times cover on Insta with the headline reading, "Skeet Davidson is dead at age 28. Then he made a social media post saying, "Hold your spouse close, make sure they know how much you love and appreciate them, because there is a skeet lurking in every dirty alleyway waiting to help destroy your family. And walk around in Calvin jeans around your children." So after the divorce, it seems like Kanye set out to ruin Kim's love life. Kim and Ray J met when she was working for his older sister Brandy in 2005. Ray said, "To be honest, the whole thing started off wrong. We'd known each other for a while before we dated, and there was a mutual attraction, but she was married. She let me know she wanted to get with me, and after that I kind of felt obligated to be with her." Last year, Kris Jenner went on the Late Late Show with James Corden, where she was strapped to a lie detector and interviewed about the infamous tape that was released in 2007 of Kim and Ray J. Kris denied the years-long speculation that she was involved in its production, and once the results came back, it seemed as though she was telling the truth. Of course, Kim kept up with this narrative too, but neither of them had expected Ray J to respond to the interview. He appeared on Instagram Live with a full presentation to prove that she was lying. He showed screenshots of the text messages that Kanye West had sent him, asking for the original tapes because he had wanted to give them back to Kim. In the messages, Kanye asks if there's a time where the two can meet or talk to discuss the matter further. In a response, Ray J said, "I got 2 kids and a tech company. Why would I involve myself in this? I'm so past this, bro. I'm assuming you know the full story from 05, right? How it happened, who brokered the deal, who put it all together, etc." This is when Ray J made the most shocking revelation ever. He said, "Kris Jenner is the one who made us shoot the second tape in Santa Barbara." He then claimed that Kris orchestrated the filming of the last tape and even watched them to decide which was best. Alrighty, time for Pete Davidson. So this coupling happened on the set of Saturday Night Live. Kim later said that she felt a spark when they shared a kiss during their Aladdin comedy sketch. But people started cringing at the relationship when Kim started spilling a few too many details of their bedroom life. While some people appreciated the honesty, others thought it was a bit too much. Then there was the tattoos. Fans thought it was a huge red flag that Pete had tattoos of Kim and her 4 kids. Now that they've broken up, it seems like it was a poorly thought out permanent decision. One of the tattoos Pete had dedicated to Kim said, "My girl is a lawyer," which he got to celebrate her passing the baby bar. He also got the names Aladdin and Jasmine with an infinity symbol between them, which is that reference to that first kiss on SNL. And the 4 children? Yeah, it was the initials, reading KNSCP. But of course, Kim didn't get any cheesy couple tattoos done of herself, and that really says a lot about the differences between them. One of the biggest complications of this relationship was Kanye West. Like I mentioned before, he was just so threatened by the idea of his ex-wife moving on with Pete that he made it his mission to try and make his life hell. As a result, fans felt bad that Pete had to go through all of that because you could tell it was really putting a strain on his mental health. While it was great that he did stand by Kim during all the Kanye drama, clearly at some point it became too much for anybody to have to put up with. As Perez Hilton reported, in 2017, Kim Kardashian was the very first girl that Nick Lachey was spotted on a date with after his split from Jessica Simpson. It was only one date, but of course, conveniently, they were photographed by paparazzi on said date, which does make it seem like it was a PR relationship. One of the editors who commented on the story said, "That was one of the early stunts that backfired. We tried to get her to F Nick so she could be a celebrity girlfriend. She would literally bake him a basket of muffins and try to get him to come to her place, and he wouldn't go. So they went to dinner somewhere in the North Valley and we had paparazzi there. But our paparazzi told all the other paparazzi, so it was a mess." That's their version of the events. But interestingly enough, Kim Kardashian's team denies this, and it's unlikely they would ever admit to one of their relationships being fake. Kris Humphries proposed to Kim on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians after 6 months of dating, and the two wed in August of 2011. 72 days later, she filed for divorce. Kim eventually told Andy Cohen that she knew their marriage was doomed during the honeymoon, but she went through it because of the pressure from getting older. She was 30 years old at the time and thought, "I'd better get married." That 72-day marriage had certainly shown signs that it was going to end quickly. Like a few days before Kim divorced Kris, I think it was day 68, the couple was spotted arguing in their car while out on a dinner date in Hollywood. The newlywed couple was photographed heading back to Kim's car after dinner, and you could see the tension in the air. Kris looked fed up, and Kim was giving her new husband the death stare while yelling and waving her hands at him as the argument was escalating. This very public fight was kind of indicative that their relationship was on the rocks, because, well, that same year, Kim went to file for divorce and get the marriage annulled. The LA Times even reported that Kim had only married him to increase ratings on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The best part was that Kris asked for a $7 million divorce settlement from his ex-wife, otherwise he threatened to make her endure an ugly public trial. But the NBA star ended up walking away with literally nothing. When speaking about their marriage, Kris said, "Look, I should have known what I was getting into. I was definitely naive about how much my life was going to change. But the one thing that really bothers me is whenever people say my marriage was fake. There's definitely a lot about that world that is not entirely real, but our actual relationship was 100% real. When it was clear that it wasn't working, what can I say? It sucked." Nick Cannon and Kim were briefly an item. In fact, he may have accidentally torched his relationship with Mariah Carey by recounting this fact in 2014 when he said, "It's been a lot of people since me." A few months later, it was reported that the admission reportedly humiliated Mariah Carey, and that's when the relationship between her and Nick Cannon never recovered. The two of them filed for divorce in 2014, and that was finalized 2 years later. But things ended poorly also between Kim and Nick, because the two of them were seen ignoring each other when they turned up at the same fashion event. And in this case, it's kind of clear that she was the one who dodged the bullet. Since 2011, Nick has had 11 children with 6 different women, and I think he at least has 1 more on the way. It's a lot of kids. Kim and Reggie Bush dated off and on from 2007 to 2010. There was a bit of controversy about the two of them reuniting, and apparently up until her 2011 wedding to Kris Humphries, Reggie was still pining for Kim and sending her texts and voicemails telling her she's making a mistake and that he's the one for her. But things between them were clearly not meant to be. A few years later in 2012, Amber Rose went on to claim that Kim cheated on Reggie with Kanye and called her a homewrecker. She said, "Kim is one of the main reasons why me and Kanye are not together. She's a homewrecker. They were both cheating on me and Reggie with each other. What an absolute mess." It was reported in April of 2010 that famed soccer star Cristiano Ronaldo and Kim had hooked up during her vacation to Madrid, and they met at an event at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Sadly, by August, he'd moved on, and newspapers everywhere were shooting down rumors that he and Kim were back together. Although it's worth noting that this is not the only sports star she's had a fling with. Kim and Tom Brady have become pretty friendly recently, as it was said that Kim Kim is looking to buy a vacation home in Tom's neighborhood at Baker's Bay and Gulf Ocean Club. This neighborhood is an exclusive members-only residential community in the Bahamas, by the way. She flew to the Bahamas just recently and was spotted touring the resort. A source close to her told Page 6 that Kim and Tom are friendly. She phoned him and asked for his advice on Baker's Bay. She's very familiar with the community and she's been eyeing property there for quite some time. Other insiders have since come forward saying that they do know each other, but they aren't involved romantically. But hey, if she moves to the neighborhood, maybe their friendship could turn into something more. It was reported in July of 2010 that Kim and Miles Austin looked pretty happy together. They were canoodling all night. He's a pretty shy and low-key guy, so he's perfect for her. Which sounded promising, but of course, the relationship was not meant to last. And whatever it was, it would fizzle by September, leading newspapers to report that they are not getting back together, they are just friends. And sometimes, that's just the way it ends. And last but not least, it was reported in October of 2010 that serial celebrity dater John Mayer had his eye on the curvy Kim Kardashian, referencing a night out that the pair had with friends to see if they would hit it off. It was reported that the two of them had been on several dates by themselves after the group situation, but clearly nothing came out of that outing because by May of 2019, John was denying any reports that he was dating Kourtney Kardashian. It's no surprise though, considering the singer is a bit of a playboy. His reputation as a womanizer definitely precedes him, especially with Jessica Simpson. So that couple dated for a year, but they broke up like several times throughout the relationship. In fact, sources close to the couple told People that things were always on and off between the pair and they had arguments constantly. Unfortunately, 2006 marked the year that they split for good. The couple was on vacation in Mexico when photos of them arguing in the balcony of their room hit the papers. Jessica looked like she was in tears as it was undoubtedly a breakup. The news of their split came out shortly after the photos were released, meaning there's a good chance that the paparazzi actually captured the moment when Jessica and John called things off.
Off, we have the Taylor Swift phone call. One of the most iconic VMA moments to ever happen was in 2009 when Taylor Swift was accepting her VMA for Best Female Video. Suddenly, in the middle of her speech, Kanye West stormed the stage and took the microphone from her and said the infamous line, "Yo Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'ma let you finish, but Beyonce has one of the best videos of all time." Now this created a feud and it appeared that the pair had seemingly made up in 2015 after being seen together at an award show and posting on social media, but that changed in 2016. Kanye dropped his song Famous, which had the line, "I me and Taylor might still have why I made that be famous." Now he claimed that he had Taylor's permission, which she denied. However, Kim stepped in to defend her then husband, saying that Taylor totally approved that and then went a step further by releasing a video of a phone call between Taylor and Kanye in which you can hear them discussing the song in question. Kim then made the internet turn against Taylor and had people flood Taylor's comments with snake emojis. Taylor then went into hiding, but in 2020 it was revealed that the video Kim had posted was edited. Taylor then broke her silence about the video through an Instagram story where she lightly shaded Kim by writing that she was telling the truth the whole time and that somebody, aka Kim, edited and manipulated it to frame her. Since then, a lot of people have turned on Kim and Kanye and they hate them for trying to frame Taylor. Next up is her robbery. In October 2016, Kim was robbed at weapon point in her Paris hotel room, with around $10 million worth of jewelry being taken. Kim had been staying at the Hotel de Portels for Paris Fashion Week when the masked men broke in. They tied her up and duct taped her mouth and eyes shut. Then, during a sit-down interview with David Letterman in 2020, Kim described the evening as 7 or 8 minutes of torture. Thankfully, Kim did not sustain any physical injuries during the heist, but she was left mentally scarred by the ordeal and had flashbacks and anxiety attacks. It was later revealed that the intruders, a group of men in their 60s and 70s, had been planning the burglary for 2 years before the attack and had used her social media pages to organize the heist in its entirety. French police said that Kim's use of Snapchat may have alerted the robbers to the jewelry that she had with her in Paris, as well as the fact that she was in her hotel room alone. Then there's Kanye harassing her. So we all know that Kim harassed Taylor Swift, but Kanye West ended up harassing her, giving her a taste of her own medicine. On February 7th, 2022, Pete Davidson publicly called Kim his girlfriend for the first time in a video interview with People. "I either just hang with my friends or chill with my girlfriend inside," he casually told the outlet. Then they became more public with their relationship, but in August 2022 they broke up. According to E! News, who first broke the story, the pair's busy work schedules and being long distance contributed to their decision to part ways. Now, part of this breakup probably though had to do with Kanye. It seemed like Kanye was obsessed with this couple. Kanye wrote a song about Pete and how much he hates him, and in the music video he literally ended Pete's life. He bullied Pete all over the internet and went on tangent after tangent on social media about Kim, often leaving her in tears. Now let's talk about Northwest. Kim's first child, Northwest, sure is something. She's pretty much a copy of her father, Kanye West. Kim has shed light on North's outgoing personality and admitted that she takes after her father, who is certainly no stranger when it comes to pushing boundaries. Kim said, "Absolutely, I mean Northwest is Kanye West's daughter. Forget that, she's his twin." She's blunt with her mother, telling her when her outfit looks bad, and she tells people her mom's secrets. Now when speaking about North on her show, Kim said, "North is really special and smart and creative and definitely beats to her own drum. Her personality is really silly." She continued by saying, "Courtney always says that North is my lesson on this planet. It means I'm supposed to learn more patience. She teaches me patience. She has taught me a lot about life." Now it seems like North could be her karma. Moving on to her rough pregnancies. Kim has 4 children, but she only gave birth to 2 of them because of her rough pregnancies. For her last 2 children, she ended up getting a surrogate because it was too dangerous for her. During her second birth, she suffered from placenta erecta, the same condition she experienced with her first pregnancy with daughter North. Now the reality star opened up about her past pregnancy complications in a post on her website when discussing her concerns about childbirth the second time around. She said, "I was able to get pregnant through that with my son Saint, and then I had 2 embryos left. I had the same condition, same awful delivery that I had with my first daughter," she said in the video. "After that, I had to have 5 different operations within a year and a half to fix the damage that all that did on the inside." Now both children she birthed were happy and healthy though, and going for a surrogate for the next 2 was probably a good idea. Then there's being called out for Photoshop. Kim has been called out for photoshopping her photos for years now. Now one of the most shocking times was when she photoshopped photos of her own daughter and nieces, which is just crazy. But some fans were able to spot photos where she removed entire body parts from herself. In August 2022, Kim promoted her collaboration with Beats by Dre with photos and videos of herself enjoying some pool time, but eagle-eyed TikTok users noticed that the reality star appeared to edit out her trapezius muscles. Kim K is notorious for photoshopping out her traps, the user Caroline began in a video. Why, I don't know, maybe it makes her neck look smaller. In January 2022, Kim posted photos from her Skim Swim collection photo shoot, only for fans to immediately notice that her leg appeared warped and featured a curve behind her knee. "Kim, what happened to your leg?" one fan commented, while another hinted on Twitter, Kim, your right leg is." The reality star was quick to delete and then repost the photo without the error, but her followers were quick to take screenshots of the mishap. Now let's talk about the fake flower. In 2012, Kim created a new fragrance and had a launch party for it, but things didn't go as planned. Someone unleashed a flower bomb on Kim, ruining her outfit and yelling what sounded like "lousy fur hag." Now at the time of the attack, it was speculated that a PETA activist had thrown the flower, as the organization previously condemned Kim's former love of real fur. But recently, Kim's former media strategist claims that her infamous 2012 flower bomb attack was actually a manufactured media moment. A PR professional who worked with Kim starting around 2005 claimed that the incident was an inside job, according to the British Channel 4 documentary, The Kardashians' Billion-Dollar Dynasty. Now sources close to the situation told the Post that Kim was never aware of the move and placed the blame on PETA, the animal rights organization that was originally speculated to be behind the incident. But it wouldn't surprise me if she was behind this, as her career was just starting out and it would give her more media coverage. On to the Met Gala dress drama. When Kim arrived at the 2022 Met Gala in the Marilyn Monroe dress, she revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. Now following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. Now in Kim's defense though, her trainer maintained that she lost the weight in a healthy way. All of this, though, got covered up with another scandal, as it was claimed that Kim actually damaged and ripped the real Marilyn Monroe dress. She denied it, but a Monroe collector is claiming that the dress has sustained permanent damages as a result, and frustrations have been renewed. Scott Fortner, a collector who works to authenticate and verify Monroe memorabilia, shared photos of the dress that were taken after the Met that appear to show stretched and buckling fabric, along with missing crystals or ones left hanging by a thread. Up next is being kicked off the stage by Prince. On Prince's Welcome to Tour, which saw the legendary artist perform over 80 shows from 2010 to 2012, he traveled across North America and cemented his legacy with a series of critically acclaimed shows. Now, on the final night of his Madison Square Garden residency, Prince hunted for someone in the star-studded front rows to join him on stage. He then spotted Kim and asked her to join him on stage, and he immediately began dancing around her. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kim hates dancing, so why she agreed to go on stage, I don't know. She laughed nervously while standing in place and clapping for him before Prince instructed her to get off my stage. Kim later discussed the incident during an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians when she told Ryan Seacrest, "I was just so nervous and I was just like laughing. To my defense, like, didn't Prince watch Dancing with the Stars? Like, I'm not a good dancer." Now, following this moment, Prince and Kim would never meet again. He never forgot her performance on stage with him, as he refused to take part in an episode of New Girl alongside members of her family, according to Zooey Deschanel. And finally, we have the diamond earring. In one of the most iconic scenes in Keeping Up with the Kardashians history, the family was vacationing in Bora Bora in 2011. Kim was with Kris Humphries at the time, and he threw her into the ocean while she was wearing her clothes. Kim then noticed that her $75,000 earrings she was wearing were no longer in her ears. She then begins to cry and turns hysterical. When her sister Kourtney finds out what happened, she iconically exclaims, "There's people that are dying, Kim." Now, Kim explained years later to People magazine why the earrings caused such a reaction. She said, "For years for my birthday, I buy myself a birthday present, and I had upgraded that pair of diamond studs. I worked really hard, I had just gotten them, and I didn't insure them. And imagine if you don't insure something and it's gone. I just threw the money away."
At number 10, Kim's nannies. Kim Kardashian is arguably the most famous of the Kardashian sisters and also seems to be the busiest. For example, Kim has 4 kids, a skincare line, her Skims brand, she's attending law school, co-founded an equity team, and recently even hopped on the podcast train. And that's all on top of filming their new reality show on Hulu. You may be asking yourself, how does one woman do all that by herself? She pays people to do it for her, duh. Kardashian has multiple assistants and nannies to help her stay above the overwhelming workload, but has been known to treat them as lesser than her. For instance, on several occasions, Kim and her daughter North would go to lunch accompanied by their nanny, but Kim made her not only sit at a separate table away from them at the restaurant, known to make her nannies walk at least 10 feet away from her at all times. If they walk near her or attempt to walk side by side, apparently she blows up on them behind closed doors. Needless to say, she has had many nannies over the years and has probably made them all cry at least once. At number 9, Kourtney in general. While Kim may not be the best boss in the world, it's Kourtney who is known as the absolute worst boss of all time. According to former nannies, Kourtney was by far the worst Kardashian to work for. Not only is she a neat freak, needing every single thing to be exactly where it should be, she's also known for being surprisingly cheap, even once calling a different grocery store while she was shopping to compare the price of a chicken breast, because if anyone needs that extra 99 cents, it's Kourtney. But this isn't the worst thing she's done. One time, Kourtney's daughter had bitten a nanny so hard that she had to quit, but instead of letting it go and taking responsibility for not teaching her daughter how to treat people, she berated the nanny, telling her she should have said something to her daughter in the moment. Because it makes sense to blame the woman you're paying to raise your kid instead of the kid herself to prevent future incidents. At number 8, toxic chemicals. Kylie Jenner is the youngest of the Kardashian clan and is extremely successful for her age. In 2019, she made the cover of Forbes magazine as the youngest self-made billionaire, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta Beauty. I'm not sure Forbes knows what self-made means, but this collaboration would allow Jenner's brand, previously only available online and at pop-up stores, to be placed on shelves in Ulta's 1,000 plus stores. This is unfortunate
unfortunate considering the true nature of just where those products come from. Many employees at the factory that mixed and packaged her makeup and beauty products have been reported that they were never given proper safety equipment that one would require to do that job. They were only given hairnets, lab coats, and safety goggles, leaving their hands and face completely exposed. Workers would regularly report migraines and mild chemical burns on their hands. I know they say beauty is pain, but I don't think this is what they meant. At number 7, Victoria. Victoria Valero has been Kylie Jenner's close personal assistant since 2015, but the pair go back to 2014 when Valero was interning as a personal assistant for Kris Jenner. After gaining the family's trust, she was hired as Kylie's house manager and soon after became her personal assistant. Victoria and Jenner became very close over the years, and she was even present at the secret birth of Kylie's daughter Stormi. You would think with being so close to the family, it would be through thick and thin, right? Well, all good things must come to an end as Victoria quit in 2019. Many fans allege that she had quit to focus on becoming an Instagram influencer, but that was far from her real reason for leaving. Being around that family means seeing a lot of stuff and doing a lot of stuff. Victoria was basically in charge of scheduling Kylie's life. Booking appointments, meetings, massages, all of this is stressful enough, basically being a 24/7 gig, but the job was also very degrading, with Kylie even having Victoria pull out a stool and set it up outside so that Kylie could get out of her car smoother. I think anyone in their right mind would want to get out of that job as soon as possible. At number 6, GoFundMe. In March 2021, Kylie shared an Instagram post asking for prayers for one of her makeup artists, Samuel Rhoda, with the post redirecting fans to a GoFundMe page where they were asked to donate money to cover his medical bills for an upcoming surgery. That's right, the woman who got a feature on Forbes' top 60 self-made women list was asking her fans to donate some of their money. Why would Kylie herself not just use some of her billions of dollars to cover the bills? Well, she went online to claim that her and Sam didn't know each other on a personal level. She had worked with him a few years prior and thought he was a sweetheart. Supposedly, her current makeup artist had shared a post about Samuel's accident, which included a link to a GoFundMe campaign created by his family. She went on to let fans know that she herself donated $5,000. Okay, sure, that's a ton of money to most of us, but for Jenner, that's like $5. Something tells me the surgery would be a lot more than that. This is just another instance proving Kylie is the worst, because I know she would drop more than that on a purse. At number 5, the lawsuit. In March of 2021, a lawsuit was arranged by several of Kim's former employees. The plaintiffs claimed that Kardashian failed to pay them overtime, cover expenses, and provide legally mandated breaks. The employees also never received actual pay stubs or any proof of payment whatsoever. They were also made to purchase everything out of pocket, and one plaintiff was even fired on the spot for simply addressing his concerns to Kim. Then, when the rest were eventually let go, they received no type of severance package or pay of any kind. It was also uncovered that Kim would keep 10% of all their earnings for tax purposes, but failed to report their employment to tax authorities. Kim argued that she couldn't be held responsible because most of her employees were apparently hired and paid through third-party companies, meaning Kim herself was technically not their direct employer and therefore cannot be liable. Kim maintains that she paid people on time and that they were suing the wrong person, but if that were the case, Kardashian would have used her high status and influence long ago to make things work for her staff, and maybe she wouldn't have gotten sued by them. At number 4, Kim and Kanye. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West started dating in 2012 and were officially married in 2014. During their marriage, life was rocky to say the least. While Kim was fairly tame for the most part, as we all know, Kanye's mental health was slowly slipping. He began posting hate speech and racially fueled tweets, as well as constantly sharing his political views and publicly backing Donald Trump. Is it really any surprise that Kim found comfort in another man's arms? While hosting SNL in 2021, Kim met Pete Davidson while still married to Kanye. We'll cover their side in another entry. Kanye discovered that Kim and Pete began dating following the live show and seemed to be the final breaking point. Apparently, only a few months before the show, Ye and Kim were constantly arguing about everything. Following their divorce, Kim revealed that she would constantly try to help Ye understand why his views and words were wrong. She wanted him to get better, but instead he doubled down and filed for a divorce. Kim is now happily single and received joint custody of her 4 kids, so it's a win-win for the Kardashian clan and for Kanye. At number 3, they don't pay. While the Kardashians have had their problems with staff individually, there seems to be one specifically toxic trait the family shares as a unit. They don't pay people. Former employees have come forward over the years calling out the family for not paying them fair wages and no overtime hours. The Kardashians don't cover expenses including gas, food, rent. Everything is out of the employee's pocket with zero money coming back. To make matters worse, the Kardashians would not pay them on set paydays, meaning you just got paid when you got paid and had to deal with with it. You would think with the family being one of the richest in the world that they would at least pay the people that help run their lives. While they have a massive staff of people cooking their food, folding their clothes, and raising their children, they barely even acknowledge their existence. Just imagine what would happen if the staff decided to walk out. The family would crumble in less than a day. At number 2, paid-in exposure. When Andre Turbia, famous YouTube animator and content creator, was asked to work with Kylie Jenner, he thought that his life would change forever. He was under the impression that the collaboration would grant him a huge amount of money, possibly a guest spot on a reality show, and maybe some shoutouts online via Instagram and Twitter. However, when Andre brought up the topic of his compensation to Jenner, she responded with, "The company doesn't really have a budget right now, so we're going to have to pay you in exposure." Like, hey, that's cool, but you can't cook exposure in a frying pan and eat it for dinner, nor is it a currency accepted at most gas stations or banks. And by exposure, she meant Andre's name being in a small print underneath her content. Andre did what anyone in their right mind would do in that situation and refused to work with her, telling her to take that exposure and shove it where the sun don't shine. And at number 1, lied about their wealth. Oh, not enough proof for ya? Well, here you go. As mentioned earlier in this list, Kylie Jenner made the cover of Forbes magazine in 2019 as the youngest self-made billionaire, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta Beauty. Well, it turns out that wasn't really the case. Jenner allegedly sold half of her company, Kylie Cosmetics, to beauty giant Coty in a deal worth $1.2 billion. This was huge and considered one of the greatest celebrity cash outs of all time. But the first rule of being a famous person is, if you can help it, try not to lie. Especially to Forbes magazine, who did some digging and revealed that Jenner was actually inflating the size and profit margins of her business. It turns out the cosmetic brand was on a much smaller scale than originally thought. As it was uncovered, Jenner only actually made around $314 million after taxes for the company. Several financial advisors backed up the story, claiming that they were berated into complying with the lie and made to help maintain the numbers for the public. Mother of the family, Kris, even played a key role in gathering false business documents to send to Forbes, making her company appear to be in the billions. Remember, if you can't figure something out, just ask mom.
Number 10. Chloe Grace Moretz. Chloe got into it with Kim when she posted a birthday pic mirror selfie in 2016. Like most things Kim Kardashian does, the internet went crazy with supporters and protesters. Even a ton of celebrities felt the need to chime in and tell Kim how they were feeling. Chloe posted to Twitter telling Kim that she truly hopes she realizes how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them that women have more to offer than just their bodies. Not one to let anything go, Kim responded saying, "Let's all welcome Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is." Shade! Chloe responded a few months later during an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, revealing that she had regrets about giving Kim Kardashian attention, but not for the comments she made. She said she realized that being the most opinionated and loud person in the room is not always the most impactful. This tweet haunted her for years. In 2018, the Kardashians sent her perfume as a gift to her A-list haters. According to Chloe, she didn't even get the perfume, her publicist took it instead. After a few years of being asked about one comment, Chloe had to put her foot down and ask people to stop asking her about it because it's an old and pointless story. Number 9. Taylor Swift. The Taylor-Kim feud has lasted a long time and is extensive. While some may think that the only thing tying these people together is the 2009 VMAs, which is fair, that's far from the case. The 2009 VMA moment, where Kanye interrupted Taylor Swift as she was accepting her award for Best Female Artist, took the microphone from her hand and claimed that Taylor was great, but that Beyonce had the best video of all time. At the time, this wasn't a massive deal, but behind the scenes there was some shady stuff going on. When Kanye and Kim were still together, they were a toxic combination, so toxic that they thought it'd be a great idea to write a song where they literally call Taylor a word that rhymes with snitch and use her name. Later on in 2016, Kanye claimed that he was given permission to use the lyrics and was backed up by his wife Kim after she posted a clip from a phone call that took place between themselves and Taylor. Now, after the internet saw this, it was irrefutable evidence that Taylor Swift was lying, and the online feud quickly dissolved. However, in 2020, the unedited version of that phone call was released, and West did not ask Taylor Swift about the lyrics at all, and Taylor was forced to respond on her Instagram by saying simply that she was telling the truth. At the time they wrote the lyrics and made the phone call, the bit about Taylor being a snitch hadn't even been written yet. Thankfully for Kim, she split from Kanye, but the phone call just proved that Kim is a liar and only wants to be famous no matter what it takes. Number 8. Naomi Campbell. Kim Kardashian has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, from restaurant employees to her staff and supermodels. In 2014, Naomi Campbell appeared on The Morning Show, where she was also asked about her thoughts on Kanye West and Kardashian's Vogue cover. Campbell seemed very hesitant to give an honest answer, doing her best to skirt around the issue while still giving enough information to viewers for them to realize that she was definitely throwing some shade at Kim, literally saying that she did not want to comment. When pressed about the answer, Campbell explained that she is a fashion model and she's been working for 28 years, and when you get a Vogue cover, it is a build in your career. It's a stepping stone to achievement, she said, suggesting that Kim did deserve the cover and had literally no further comments to make. Considering what she could have said, Campbell handled the situation pretty well and with a ton of respect, but bloggers attempted to add fuel to the fire in April 2019 when they started accusing Kardashian of stealing Campbell's most notorious red carpet looks. Kim set the record straight, saying that in this case, imitation was the sincerest form of flattery. According to Kim, herself and Naomi had talked about this before any clothes were worn, and the pair also created a short film with Cher in 2020, so either they patched things up or they kept it together for Cher, which I would do as well. Number 7, Bette Midler. Kim's birthday suit mirror selfie caught the attention of a lot of celebrities. One who chimed in just completely out of left field was Bette Midler. Bette is an incredible woman, well known for her music career. She is also a fantastic actor who is probably most universally known as Winifred Sanderson from the film Hocus Pocus. Bette posted on Twitter weighing in on her feelings about Kim, saying that Kim Kardashian tweeted a birthday suit selfie, and if Kim wants us to see a part of her that we have not seen yet, she's gonna have to swallow a camera. That is legendary. What a great roast. Please get this woman on the dais of the next Comedy Central celebrity roast as soon as possible. Kardashian commented back with a joke of her own, asking Midler to send birthday pics of her own, even though it was past her bedtime. Get it? Cause she's old? Ending the comment with the hashtag, just kidding. However, a few minutes later, she posted another, more sinister comment saying, Bette Midler, I really didn't want to bring up how you sent me a gift a while back trying to be a fake friend and then come at me. Kim's terrible, eh? But she did not have the last laugh. Bette responded to the comment telling Kim that she has never tried to be a fake friend. Looks like anyone can take a selfie, but not everyone can take a joke. Which is very true. How are you going to write the first joke about her being old, and then before she even responds to that joke, you comment again saying like, you know what, I wasn't gonna bring this up, but why not? That's a terrible way to start a conversation and a terrible thing to do. Number 6. Pink. A lot of celebrities seem to be upset and annoyed when Kim Kardashian posted that birthday suit selfie, and one of those powerhouse musicians was Pink. She took to Twitter to comment on Kim and her photos, shading her selfie and tweeting a photo of a note that she wrote pertaining to women. She wrote, "Shout out to all of the women across the world using their brains, their strength, their work ethic, their talent, their magic that they were born with that only they possess," and continued that it may not ever bring you as much attention or banknotes as using your body, your orientation, your identity, but women like you don't need that kind of attention. Pink does not hide her feelings, so when she came onto a show called Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, a fan asked her if her post was in fact in reference to Kim Kardashian, and Pink did not hesitate and said yes. Kim had apparently gone in on Bette Midler, and according to Pink, if you mess with Bette, you'll be hearing from the Pink. Number 5, Miley Cyrus. Miley is no stranger to a raunchy post or two, but when Kim Kardashian posted those birthday selfie pics that everyone seems to be upset about, it didn't go over well with Miley either. Her issue was not with the photo itself, but instead of the amount of attention that the photo had received. Miley was even prompted to create her own Instagram post addressing the issue. The pics from Kim became such a phenomenon that Miley just couldn't ignore it, in her words. Taking to Instagram, Miley posted a Kim-moji of Kim Kardashian's famous booty, clearly trying to let everyone know who she was talking about without actually posting any pictures of Kim Kardashian. She also included a caption addressing the feud, calling those involved tacky. Instead of asking the world to just straight up stop celebrating Kim, she attempted to shift the focus to celebrating women in general, posting to her Instagram asking women to celebrate each other, writing, "Why don't we overly fortunate women come together and try to create and bring jobs to other women in desperate need of them, so that they can support not only themselves but their families as well." Kim never responded to that post or showed any support of any kind for Miley, and eventually the world moved on to something else, but the message Cyrus was trying to share here is one worth noting. Number 4, Sharon Osbourne. Sharon is no stranger to controversy herself, being fired from her views on The Talk, but that did not stop her from being one of the celebrities that vocally trashed Kim's mirror pics. Sharon even went so far as to recreate the photo herself in support of Kim, writing #liberated. However, while the photo is still up, she seemed to go back on her statement in 2017 when she berated Kim for the revealing photo. She wrote that Kim says she is doing everything in the name of feminism, but that this was not that. She said in reference to the Kardashian women as a whole that these women live off their bodies, half of LA has been through them, and everything they do from the tapes to the plastic see-through dresses and gym wear are all about sex and not female progress. Kardashian responded to the post saying that she never exclusively said that anything was in the name of feminism. Instead, she said she posts body-barring pics because she said, "I like how I look and I feel proud when I've lost all the baby weight," and she posts it because she feels like posting it and feels powerful. Those are her words. Number 3, Beyonce. Considering Beyonce and Kim run in similar circles thanks to their Hollywood connections, their former rap husbands who were friends, and entrepreneurial backgrounds, you would think that these people get along, but apparently that is very far from the case. Rumors about Kardashian and Beyonce's feud started in 2014 when Jay-Z and Beyonce didn't show up to Kim and Kanye's wedding. Fans, being the way that they are, started launching rumors left and right, flooding the internet with possibilities. 2 of the big ones were A, that they were too busy, which is fair, and the second being that Rachel Roy, who Jay-Z is rumored to have cheated with, was going to be there. In October 2016, the rumors escalated after a source told The Mirror that Beyonce has genuinely never liked Kim Kardashian. She's apparently tolerated her because of their husband's friendship and mutual friends. Beyonce also can't stand the whole reality TV shtick, which is fair, it's an annoying show. Of course, with it now being 2023 and Kim being long divorced from Kanye, there's a small chance that they've patched things up, but why would they? Beyonce's a superstar in her own right, and now that her hubby isn't connected to Kim, she just can ignore her while Kim continues to do her thing. Number 2, Piers Morgan. Piers wrote an open letter to Kim in 2016 in the wake of her awful Paris robbery when 5 men tied her up and robbed her. While he wrote that he initially liked her after interviewing her in 2011, his feelings towards her had been skewed. In the letter, he wrote something about how Kim had changed since the moment he first met her. She grew slowly coarser, according to Piers, and snarkier, and started bombarding the world with regular X-rated selfies. By 2018, his tirade continued, claiming on Good Morning Britain that time should be up for Miss Kardashian after she posted a topless photo on Instagram. Unsurprisingly, Morgan happened to later be a recipient of Kardashian's Valentine's Day gifts, the only man on that list. The gift only fueled his hatred and criticism, and in September of 2019, he continued his hate when he mocked Kardashian's Emmy presentation with her sister Kendall, where the entire audience openly laughed at the 2 starlets. Morgan said that compared to the genuinely talented people on stage that night, those sisters looked like idiots. And at number 1, Amber Portwood. One of Kim's earliest feuds dates back to 2011 when she upset a ton of young moms from the TV show Teen Mom. Kim wrote a negative post on her blog about teen pregnancy rates, blaming Teen Mom for making the situation seem cool in the eyes of young women. Clearly she's never seen an episode of that show. There's nothing cool about it. In fact, it's pretty depressing. One of those kids, as she put it, didn't let Kim talk down to them without consequences. Amber posted on Twitter saying that the last time she checked, Kim had an X-rated movie floating around the internet that she made a lot of money off of. She did that, but she wants to bash the girls in Teen Mom. When her sister Kylie got pregnant, she seemed much more supportive of the situation, so it's okay to have a baby when you're young, so long as you're related to Kim Kardashian. May that be a lesson to all of you.
At number 10, we have Anna Wintour. Their shady feud started back when Anna put Kim and Ye on the cover of Vogue. They were in their wedding attire and flaunting their new marriage. Obviously, a lot of high-class readers were really unhappy about this, and it caused a lot of outrage from people. But Anna clapped back, saying that if she always put tasteful people on the covers, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. And all the outrage from people got more people talking about the magazine and would boost sales. Well played, Anna. Very well played. And that's not where their feud ends either. Anna was less than impressed impressed with Kim's appearance at Paris Fashion Week, and she was even more upset at the fact that she showed up almost 50 minutes after it began, then tried to weasel her way up to the front to sit next to Anna. So, being the classy lady she is, she moved over a seat and faced her body language away from Kim and didn't acknowledge her existence. Now that's a snub if I've ever seen one. At number 9, we have Scott Disick. There's no surprise that he wants nothing to do with the family anymore, considering he's Kourtney's ex-husband. He was actually a fan favorite while he was on the show, but after they split, things got really awkward and he was no longer invited to events. For obvious reasons. And he refuses to watch the reboot of the show, considering Kourtney is now married to someone else. Apparently he had some loyalty issues while he was with Kourtney, but that wasn't what split them up. It was the fact that he was constantly struggling with substance issues, and he claimed that the only reason he was unfaithful was because of the substances. One way or another, they have snubbed one another, and Scott has moved on since then. So I guess everything worked out? At number 8, we have Rebel Wilson. Rebel Wilson is an incredible actress starring in Bridesmaids and the Pitch Perfect trilogy, and she faced a lot of criticism because of her weight loss journey. Something that hasn't changed though is her hatred for Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian family as a whole, really. She was asked to present an award alongside with Kendall and Kylie Jenner, and she refused the offer without hesitation. She said that she didn't want to be compared to Kim Kardashian because Kim became famous from a private tape, whereas Rebel went to school for acting and earned her fame. She went to school in Australia for acting in the early 2000s to the 2010s, and she starred in Pitch Perfect in 2012, which was one of her biggest roles. So you can't blame her for snubbing the Kardashians, who didn't have to lift a finger for their fame when she worked incredibly hard to get to where she is now. At number 7, we have Prince, the Purple Rain singer who is a musical prodigy, so for him to have something against the Kardashians is very interesting to think about. But it started back when he was still with us and touring. Kim Kardashian was up front at one of his concerts, and he spotted her in the audience and called her onto the stage. She complied begrudgingly, and she just kind of stood on the stage awkwardly because Prince expected her to dance. Well, little did he know, she swore off dancing ever again when she was eliminated first off Dancing with the Stars. So she was sticking to that. After a few very awkward minutes, he kicked her off the stage. And even after that, Prince said that the Kardashians would never be invited to one of his parties because he didn't want anything to do with them. That was definitely a blow to Kim's ego, and he even took this snub with him to the grave, considering they never reconciled. Can you blame him really? At number 6, we have Chelsea Handler. She was the host of her own e-show called Chelsea Lately, and it was right up there with Keeping Up with the Kardashians in terms of views. However, in 2014, Chelsea quit because she was just fed up with celebrities, and having to always be talking about them, seeing them, and everything about it just got to her. She named the Kardashians particularly because people always talked about how much they hated the Kardashians, but how they only watched the show to make fun of them. She claimed that that was one of the biggest parts of the problem, and there was no point in complaining about them if you're gonna watch the show anyway. So she left E! And moved to Netflix. Her career has been thriving there, and she is even still blaming the Kardashians for the downfall of modern media. Rightfully so, if we're being honest here. So we can assume she is still snubbing them hard after leaving. At number 5, we have Bette Midler. Bette Midler is a woman of many talents. She's a singer, an actress, and a comedian, and overall quite the iconic character. So not only is she a triple threat, but she also has a deep-seated hatred for Kim Kardashian in particular. Like many other celebrities, she hates the fact that Kim didn't do anything to get her fame, and that people worship her for being a whiny middle child, and an icon of bad choices and fake bodies. But what she hates the most is how comfortable Kim is with showing off her full body online and acting like it's the most normal thing in the world. When Kim posted a fully nude photo to her Instagram, Bette snapped back on Twitter and said that if there was a part of Kim she wanted the whole world to see that we haven't seen already, she would have to swallow the camera. Kim attempted to get back at her with harsh words and snide remarks, but Bette had already won because she did have a better point. After this, we can assume that Bette snubbed Kim since she really had the last laugh. At number 4, we have Amber Rose. Amber has been snubbing Kim for years, considering she blames her breakup with Kanye on Kim. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Back when both Kim and Ye were in long-term relationships, they claimed that they were just friends. And when they both left their long-term partners, they decided that they were single enough to get with one another. But Amber tells a different version of the story, saying that Ye was very secretive and closed off towards the end of their relationship, and he started dating Kim very shortly after. She attributes their breakup to her, but that's not all. She has beef with the other Kardashian-Jenner siblings as well, because she's very close friends with Blac Chyna, who was briefly engaged to Rob Kardashian, and it ended up getting very messy. But when Amber commented on Kylie and Tyga's relationship, saying it was ridiculous, that was where Khloe stepped in, saying that she doesn't need to worry about her sister, considering she has an established career without being an exotic dancer. Amber didn't take too kindly to this and snapped back at her, saying that she was just doing what she needed to do to support her family, just like Kim did. The feud was going on for years, and Amber snubbing the Kardashians is really nothing new. At number 3, we have Taylor Swift. Their history goes way back, and it's incredibly complicated. It started back in 2015 when Kim got herself involved in the Ye and Tay drama, because as his then wife, it was part of her job, I guess. But she made matters worse for herself when she tried to gaslight Taylor, because Kim claimed she knew that Kanye was going to use her name in a negative way in his song Famous, whereas Taylor heavily denied that fact. Kim really enjoys leaking things. So she leaked the phone call between Taylor and Ye talking about the release of the song, and everyone sided with Kim for years, until Taylor got access to the real phone call, full and unaltered, and posted it so that she could prove that it was in fact Kim who was in the wrong. But Kim, being who she is, played the victim and said that people already knew what was on the voicemail and it wasn't anything new. What was different was the fact that they never sat down and discussed the lyrics, and Ye released the song without checking with Taylor about the lyric, "I made that be famous," and since then they still haven't patched things up, and Taylor still has both of them snubbed. At number 2, we have Barack Obama. You know you done messed up when the former president of the United States has something against you as a human being. He did take pictures with Kim to be polite, because that's just who he is, but he admitted he wanted his daughters to have nothing to do with the TV show and tried to keep them away from the Kardashians as much as possible, because he didn't want them to influence his daughters, Kim especially. He even said that he told his daughters specifically to avoid the show at all costs, because he didn't want them to think that Kim was a marker for success, and that she was giving off all the wrong impressions. Of course, Kris, the momager of them all, did not like this and tried to snap at him. And of course, it didn't do anything, because she doesn't hold nearly as much power as he did. But he made it a point to not only snub the show, but snub them as people after this incident. And last but not least, at number 1, we have Beyonce. Beyonce and Kim aren't friends, but apparently Kim used to go out of her way to get Bey's attention, and usually failed. It started with the fact that Jay-Z and Ye aren't really friends anymore either, because Ye is a little off his rocker and went on quite the rant about the power couple, individually, and it made both of them really unhappy with him. Therefore, Kim was roped into it since she was married to him. But this is about Kim and Beyonce. Fans speculate their lack of friendship is also because of their emotional and personality difference. Kim's entire life has basically been documented, whereas Beyonce is very closed off and likes to keep her personal life personal. Another reason they don't get along is that Kim is very close friends with Rachel Roy, who is an arch nemesis to Beyonce. So you can't blame her for not wanting to be around someone who's like besties with her enemy. Her snubbing of Kim is valid for so many different reasons.
Number 10, grave shopping. Window shopping is not weird. We all love to mindlessly walk around a store that we know well and good we will be purchasing nothing from. But the Kardashian family doesn't go to Hot Topic, or maybe they do. I live in Toronto, I've never seen them. Instead, this family likes to window shop for coffins and grave plots. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, momager Kris decided that the best gift she could get for her kids was a nice, comfortable place to keep their lifeless husks tucked away when they pass. Kris and the crew spent the day trying to decide what model of coffin they wanted to purchase. purchase, with Kris going so far as to getting into a coffin to see if it was cozy. Hey Kris, if you're trying to get cozy in a coffin, you're still alive! Bang on that lid, man! On top of shopping for physical coffins, she also took the kids on a tour of a graveyard that seemed to boast some pretty stellar plots. There is such a serious conversation over the choice of in the ground or in a mausoleum made of marble. Yeah, which one do you think they picked? Number 9, mystery meat. Following a brief discussion on the practice of eating the stuff that comes out after we're born, yep, that's a thing apparently, Kim and Kourtney decided to hatch a plot where they would trick their family into thinking they had just eaten placenta. There, I'm only saying it once, from now on it'll be called the stuff. The sisters go through an elaborate preparation and brag to their family about the mystery meat that they had purchased. As the evening went on, they continued to plant the seeds right up until the forks were plunged deep into the meat. Following the meal, they decided that it was the perfect time to tell their family they had just dined on the stuff. Of course, their immediate reaction is disgust and anger at the same time. Don't eat mystery meat, guys, especially if it's cooked by Kim Kardashian. That could be a person for all you know. They let the prank play out for some time, with Caitlyn Jenner almost blowing her chunks all over the table. After a few moments of panic, they let it slip that the meat that they were eating had actually been brisket. But needless to say, Kim's no longer in charge of family dinner night. Number 8, the Pepsi commercial. Sponsored brand deals can mean a lot of money for the people involved. Just look at every cologne on the planet. They hire someone to stand on a beach for them for like 30 seconds and make $1 million. Around 2017, Kendall Jenner decided to partner with the soda brand Pepsi to create a commercial that would act as both an ad and a PSA against hate. The commercial consisted of hundreds of people from different parts of the world drinking Pepsi, and eventually everyone comes together on the streets on what appeared to be New York, I'm not sure. Kendall looks to the crowd, wipes off her makeup, and follows suit. And the cringe comes when the crowd of people appear to be at a standoff with the police. Kendall walks through the crowd and hands an officer a can of Pepsi. He sips it, and the crowd cheers before they swarm the cops, who are suddenly just cool with everything that's going on. The ad was meant to be a political statement following the passing of several African American men and women in the United States, aiming to bring people together, which it did, but for the wrong reasons. The world collectively cringed at this absolute mess, forcing Kendall to drop an apology video on that season's premiere of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She may have apologized, but we will still never forget this strange brand collaboration. Number 7, the birthday suit shoot. Momager Kris Jenner has been a big part of the family unit for a long time. In fact, she's one of the main reasons that her kids are such good liars. The older we get, the more we clamor for our glory days. With Kris, she decided she wanted to recapture that youthful image in a birthday suit swim shoot at her home. During the episode titled Let It Go, the Kardashian kids enter their backyard only to discover that their mother is taking rather spicy photos in a see-through swimsuit. Not something that anyone wants to see their mom doing. Kris was quick to tell the girls there was nothing wrong with the shoot and that she was simply trying to show off her curves, but her clan wanted none of it and instead let their mother know exactly how they felt. The momager just continues to take photos despite her kids now being present at the home, and at one point Kim literally tells her mom that she's scarring them for life. The moment was more awkward than anything else, but certainly shows just how little regard Kris actually has for her kids. Number 6, selfie. If you're a Kardashian, any moment is a good photo op, whether it's on a luxurious boat in the Caribbean or in an SUV on the way to jail. Anytime is selfie time. During an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the crew are on their way to drop Khloe off at prison after she violated her probation. Things in the car were intense, but Kim decided to diffuse the tension by snapping a couple of candid pics of herself and her sisters. The entire ride was filled with cringy moments, including Kris suggesting that they all go get some pre-jail IHOP and chill out. The funniest thing about the moment is that Khloe seems pretty calm and collected considering she's going to jail, while her mother is just furious from start to finish. Needless to say, if your sibling is being arrested, don't take family photos on the way to the prison. Number 5, shut your mouth. When Scott Disick was still with Kourtney Kardashian, he was a regular wild man on the show. He would regularly get into situations that made him look like the absolute worst, which he was. During one particularly rough moment on the show, Scott was accompanied by the rest of the crew to Las Vegas, Nevada for some wholesome family fun. Nah, I'm just kidding, they drank no-no juice a lot. At one point, Scott becomes so intoxicated that he loses control of his emotions and berates a waiter for simply doing his job. He then proceeds to give him a tip by jamming $100 in his mouth. The waiter pushed back and walks away, which is probably a good move. If Scott Disick shoved $100 in my mouth, well, I'm poor, I'd probably take it and spend it on my hydro bill. Scott is one of the messiest members of the family, despite not being a blood-born Kardashian, but thankfully Kourtney eventually came to her senses and dumped him like yesterday's lunch. Number 4, Kylie's billions. Kylie Jenner made the cover of Forbes magazine in 2019 as the youngest self-made billionaire ever, following the successful partnership between her cosmetic brand and Ulta, which was like a beauty beauty salon company. It turned out that that wasn't actually the case though. Jenner allegedly sold half of her cosmetics company, Kylie Cosmetics, to the beauty giant Coty in a deal worth $1.2 billion. Now this was huge and considered to be one of the greatest celebrity cash outs of all time. But the first rule of being a famous person is, if you can help it, maybe try not to lie, especially to Forbes magazine, who did some digging and revealed that Jenner was actually inflating the size and profit margins of her business. It turns out that the cosmetic brand was actually much smaller than originally thought, and it was uncovered that Jenner only actually made about $314 million after taxes from the company. The revelation was briefly covered on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, but it was ultimately edited to make the situation look less severe than it actually was. The reality was Kylie was lying about her money, tricking people who wanted to invest, and let's not even start with where her cosmetics come from. It's understaffed factories with non-protective gear. Good luck, Kylie. Number 3, 2020. Who cares? In 2020, while most of the world was shut down and we were all forced to stay in our houses, the rich and powerful were living it up, especially the Kardashian family. Despite the entire world throwing a close sign over their doors, Kim and her sisters decided they cared more about seeing their buddies than saving the world. Kim rented a private island for her 40th birthday, an entire island for about 30 people. Yeah, that makes sense. Kim decided to post photos and videos from the event, which were of course met with immediate backlash. Kim was quick to defend herself by claiming that every person there had stayed inside and away from people for at least 2 weeks. They all tested negative, blah blah blah. In her post, she claimed that the event was to help herself and her friends feel normal during a particularly hard time in history. Hey man, I would've liked to do that too, but I don't have any K's in my name. Not only did Kim throw a lavish private party, but her sister Kendall did the exact same thing, only much worse. Kendall decided it would be an awesome idea to throw a private rooftop Halloween party in Hollywood, California, and invited not 30, but 100 of her closest friends. Again, the crew claimed that everyone attending the event was tested and good to go, but the reality was nobody knows what went down or where they came from. Most of them probably showed up in a helicopter or something. Freaking famous jerks. Number 2, cut the cucumber. Alright, anybody who's ever made a meal has probably chopped a vegetable once or twice. For me, it was only once, never again. For Kendall Jenner, it seems like the answer is she's never done it. During an episode of the latest version of the reality show, The Kardashians, Kendall was shot attempting to cut a cucumber, and I do mean attempting. Like in the footage, she moves her hands around in a weird way that makes her like chop the cucumber backwards. I don't know. This woman has clearly never taken a single cooking class in her life. And I'd like to thank my high school cooking teacher, Mr. Kenzel, for being so good at his job and preventing me from looking like this. Seriously, she was holding the already cut side of the cucumber trying to grip it. Like, just watch one YouTube tutorial. The moment went viral online and she received massive amounts of online hate, with many asking the question why she was trying to make herself a snack. Like, we all know that these people have a literal closet full of chefs waiting to be activated and put into cook mode. Next time, Kendall should just go on Amazon and buy the automatic cucumber slicer for 3 easy payments of $99.99. And at number 1, girls don't work these days. In March 2022, the Kardashian clan were doing a profile for the outlet Variety. When the question was asked, what advice do you have for women aiming to be entrepreneurs? Kim decided to declare that women simply needed to get off their bums and work. Nobody wants to work these days. The tone-deaf statement was met with massive amounts of backlash. Considering Kim comes from a long line of wealthy people, it's no surprise that she would receive such public hate. If I was born rich, I'd probably be telling people to work harder too, but like, Kim gets paid to basically look good and be on TV, that's it. Oh yeah, definitely hard work being done there. Oh, so exhausting.